happen to offend my political connects, understand I have no time to be politically correct. I speak it from my soul, so let my thoughts reflect the passion in my voice, be poetically correct.
Yeah. Hey. All right, so it used to be just a duo.
Yeah.
And now we got a trio.
Wait a minute, you can't just come and just start. Wait a minute, hold on. It used to be a duo. See, but every good team has a big three, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So look, just hype and ready. Yeah. Just like a little kid in the candy store.
Just ready.
Just ready to hop on there and just start talking your talk.
Just falling into place.
Falling in your place. Nah, you don't fall into the place. You come and just grab your seat and just step into it. Like, you don't fall into nothing. You come and make your own pathway.
Hell yeah.
So if you're listening, you've heard two voices. Now you've heard three voices. You weren't only supposed to hear two until I introduced the person. I'm supposed to give you like a Magna Carta, like some great introduction, like as I do. You know, I gave B-Rock his great introduction. I'm supposed to give you that, but you don't get that now. You ruined it. You see, we have the one and only Hot. She's fire. She's flames, a.k.a. Pyro on the mic.
A.k.a. Beyond Your Definition on the mic.
A.k.a. Straight Bars.
A.k.a. Young Author.
A.k.a. Fly with the Hat.
A.k.a. Young Masters.
A.k.a. Mary Poppins with the hat. A.k.a. ECU Pirate, but she steal your treasures.
A.k.a. Slam Charlotte's Finest, you know what I'm saying?
A.k.a. she'll take your seat on the Slam Charlotte team, so you better watch yourself.
Yes.
A.k.a. she'll flame any mic that she stands on. Wait a minute, not stand on the mic, but she stands upon the mic.
Yeah, but she stands on the stage, but she also flames.
Matter of fact, she does stand on the mic, because it's beneath her. Yeah. So you know me as Poetically, Poetically, it's Ron DiCarlo. But we've been talking about this voice that you heard earlier.
Can I come back in? Am I allowed to? No, I'm excited to be here.
You get no music.
Oh, no music. Hey.
Nah.
My name is Beyond Definition. I'm here to redefine the show and the mission.
Hey.
Oh, I like that. And so, if you're watching on YouTube, listening on SoundCloud, Apple, iTunes Music, it was an app that you had. What was the app that you had that you showed me?
I should remember the app name right now. It was.
Wasn't it just the podcast
or something like that? I'm gonna have to find it.
Okay, but any podcast, SoundCloud, hey, it's simple to find us. And also Instagram, the Poetically Correct.
Right.
But you know, to bring just like some extra spice to it. Now you were on our second episode that we had, where we talking about like just like relationship type stuff, but to bring more spice to it, to bring more fire and flames to it, to bring more like just conversation to it, to bring another area. That's too much fire. It's too much. It's a lot of talking, Rome.
It's a lot of talk.
But also just to bring like, outside, opposites to men here. But I think it's dope, like to have a woman.
Feminine energy.
Yeah, like because we'll say some shit, but you may have another perspective.
Get some more estrogen in the room. I got you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And if y'all don't know, man, like Mariah is one of the most impactful in terms of just her voice. Even yesterday, we had a meeting of the poetry community in Charlotte, and she immediately just got back to Charlotte. She's already saying things. People are like, oh man, she's well spoken. She needs to be involved in this and that. So it's definitely dope to have an extra voice on the show.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. They're flattering me right now, but they're amazing too. And I'm excited to be up here because I'm always just joking and kidding, and we have conversations that should be recorded on the podcast. So
we always, and that's why,
it's always a debate.
And that's why y'all be pissing me off too, because I'm like, yo, stop! You're wasting good content.
He is mad in the middle of
still
real
mad.
conversations.
Yeah.
Like, stop! This is good content. But
we're not using that content.
We had the most. If y'all don't know, like Poetically is a huge Jay-Z fan, right?
A huge Jay-Z.
That's my uncle.
And they got into the most epic debate of just.
Okay, hold on. Do we want to have 3 minutes of that real quick? Do we want to have 3 minutes of that? Because it wasn't. You know what? No. Let me say this. Let me say this. Because it wasn't a debate, really. It was honestly. if we look at a debate,
mediator. It
wasn't
a
debate because if you look at the definition of debate,
filibuster in Congress where they just talk for a real long time
so
that they can get their stuff passed. That was really what it was.
That's what Lee was doing.
That was what Lee was doing.
Lee was on the filibuster.
Yeah, it was. but nobody was feeling it. That's the thing.
No,
the debate was on
because the debate you need facts in debate, right? And actually,
You
there
threw out a couple dates.
actually it wasn't a debate because I was more like really asking questions.
You saw how it was just dead air.
I was
Like,
I was
I
asking
just-
questions, and upon your questions, you seem to not really be able
This
to.
is the issue, y'all. So the debate, the real question was, does Jay-Z
the conversation.
put independent artists on?
So, I have another question
The deep
too with
breath
that.
in, the gasp.
Well, no, I have a question. So, what's considered independent? What do you? And I guess that's what I want to know.
Wasn't this the question I asked before our debate started? See,
I think you asked that after that question.
I'm giving
So,
side
so
eye
let me
for those who are just listening.
let me.
What is considered
what's
independent, though?
considered an independent
I said
artist?
there was different tiers to independent artistry. So before doing this, shout out to WZMB 91.3. Used to be a radio personality there, but it's an independent station. So that's why I'm really passionate about independent artistry and just specifically within hip hop, R&B. But anyway, there's different levels to independent artistry. So there could be someone who, has a promoter or a manager. They're trying to get on. They have some connection with different stations locally. They haven't made a national name for themselves. Get up another tier. There's people who have some national notoriety, but they're still very independent. They're not signed to a label, may have a management team, may have a promotion team. Then you go up another tier. And I mean, there's someone who literally is nationally recognized, sometimes internationally, has a following and is in talks with different record labels about potential deals.
You know what? Based off of what you just said, because when you prefaced it with the radio definition of independent, it made me think. Like, I feel like just being an independent artist just means ownership over what you have.
Yeah, pretty much.
And everything else all your other dealings, the business dealings, they're cool as long as you're not giving up your ownership. When you sign that label deal, or if you're giving up your masters or something like that, that's when you're no longer
Right.
independent. But I didn't think about that till you said the radio.
So this brings me to my question
Masters
now.
in publishing. Find
So-
out about it.
So, when you ask the question, what independent artist has Jay-Z put on? Are you asking a true independent, someone Joe Blow on the street panning out his mixtape? Or are you asking someone, because I asked you, did you know Belly? You didn't know Belly. So that brings on to the question, what level are you looking for someone to get put on? I mean, there's always going to be someone that doesn't know who you are, right? There's people that don't know who Vic Mensa is, and Jay-Z it's a lot of people really don't like Vic Mensa, but Jay-Z's one of like his big fans. Even like going to like Cole. I mean, Cole had built that following, but there was still people that did not. Cole wasn't even Cole. Yeah, he denied Cole
A couple times while Cole was building.
So let's understand that though. Cole was giving him the come up mixtape. That's different than the warm-up mixtape.
Okay, but it was still Cole though. Like
No, this is what you're saying. You're saying, okay, one person, Kobe was nice in high school, but then Kobe in pros. Like Cole was nice on the come up, but the warm up he was spitting different type of bars.
If you scoop Kobe in the pros, have you really given him a come up like that? Like, I'm just saying he will like cherry pick certain artists that are already kind of at that pinnacle level of where they have the following. They're clearly going to be successful.
Is that not
and then
okay?
he's like, I mean, again, that's a smart business move. And the question isn't, was Jay-Z a businessman? The question was, is Jay-Z putting on independent artists? And then Rome and myself, I can't remember the direct examples, but like we found
terrible
I know.
examples.
Well, I know.
we had other
Nas?
examples of no we had another example though besides that was of other people who actually have been putting
said Lil
independent
Wayne.
artists on.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of people who he picked up from a lower point than when J. Cole was. For instance, Big Sean didn't
Right.
have, Kanye really groomed him from pretty much the start. But he didn't.
looking
He signed him
real
though,
bitter
so he
'cause
wasn't
it was a
independent. He wasn't independent because he signed him. Is Nipsey Hussle independent or
He is now. He is now.
Was he-
I mean, no, my fault. He isn't now.
okay? Was he independent when Jay-Z did that whole thing
hold
about
on.
buying the albums?
Yes, he was independent. And
Look how excited he got.
No. Because thank you, Ron. Do you know how much that album was?
$100, right?
$100. That was $100 album. Jay-Z saw that and said, "I fuck with that."
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm saying that Nipsey, I love Nipsey.
His whole face just lit up.
I love, but you know what?
Now he loves
you know what?
Nipsey. Now he
I
loves
want to change the conversation real quick, and then we're gonna get on with it because we're doing new things with the show.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be exciting. But Nipsey, I love because Nipsey has stayed true to who he is. He's been independent from the go. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those people. What he did now with Atlantic was the distribution deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing that distribution deal now, and it's funny to me because you'll have fans get upset when an artist goes in with the label.
Right.
I'm like, okay, how do y'all? Because I don't get upset. I know as a business person, it depends what the deal is.
I think it's more of like when I see the fans getting upset with people going with the label, it's that they're scared they'll lose their like authenticity or their original voice that made them fall in love. It's like coming from that underground and going mainstream and just fearful that, you know, that artist won't be the same person. Let's be honest, even if we talk about somebody like Nicki Minaj, underground Nicki, itty bitty piggy Nicki is not Starships. It's been gone. It's been gone. But it's like just going mainstream can sometimes water down the truth of the artist or the authenticity of the artist. Because when you talk about labels, then sometimes you get into groomers, certain types of marketing people that want you to dress a certain way, want you to put out content about a certain way. So now you're just trying to like coddle the audience as opposed to just having all of your, you know, masters in publishing being able to put out any words that you feel fit to put out. So I think that's the fear. But I do get what you're saying because it's almost a double-edged sword because it's like you've been rooting for this person, telling them about this underground person. And if you're really a fan of somebody, you want to see them win. You want to see them get successful. But I think it's just also you want to see them stay true to themselves and like continue to give you that positive content that you first fell in love with. So it is kind of a balancing act in that way. But I do see people being resentful about that.
I can see
and
that
it
now.
is kind of... It's kind of shady to say I'm a big fan, but then you get mad the moment you see him sign on a dotted line. If you haven't seen the content change and you're hating, why?
Because I was hyped when Cole finally got signed.
Right,
Yeah,
and
me
he's
too.
one of the great examples of someone who has not changed.
Now, you know who I wish have stayed independent? Even though he went on with Cash Money?
Who?
Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I think Drake could have been that one. I don't think, you know what? I don't think Drake is that great
But
business-wise.
I'm going to give you this
I got another one too for you, by the way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Drake, you mean ghostwriting Drake?
Well, we're just talking about the artist Drake. We're not gonna have that conversation.
And Drake, before,
I don't want to get too deep into it, but without his handlers, I don't know that Drake would have been as successful. And by handlers, I mean like without having people who could actually crowdsource and get content for him. Now, again, Drake is still an artist that puts his stank on it. I mean, someone else who's a no-name Joe Blow can say the same lines and it wouldn't have got as much notoriety as if Drake said it and he put his own twist on it. But Drake does have, you know, sometimes writers who will come in and help him out. And I don't know if he would have that same ability if he was independent. Maybe he could still have a team doing that for him. But I think that has added to his success. People picking out, oh, this is a hit. You need to do this. You need to cover this particular thing or say this there. But maybe I'm just a Drake hater, you know.
Now, if I could jump on that, because I know when Drake first came out, before he got all Cash Money-ish, like he was writing for other people, and like he wrote joints for Alicia Keys and all these other people.
Wow, what
but
songs
the Cash
from
Money
it?
culture,
Unforgettable.
he wrote
Unforgettable.
Yeah, that joint.
He wrote he wrote Jamie Foxx. That's why I wasn't going to like jump on you right then, but
But I'm saying the culture of Cash Money is
I don't
different.
want to have that. I don't want to have that conversation right now because I think that's
another episode.
It's one of those things where we'll talk about like on another episode, as far as creating content and having and learning the far as synergy and understanding what synergy is. But when I was saying as far as business, hold on, what were you just saying?
I was gonna say Wale is another person I wish would have stayed independent too, because when he went to MMG, I know I was one of the fans that kind of fell off Wale at that point because I didn't like what. I wasn't an MMG fan, so when he signed with him, he started to get more acclimated with what they were doing. It was like, oh, that's not really something I'm interested in anymore. But I know he was talking about how before he was with MMG, like the label he was with, they had him flying like Coach, and like, you know, they was treating him mad regular, not giving him no budget for his album. So he went with MMG. He felt like he was with somebody who was for the artist, and it gave him a better opportunity. So
He said they had me flying Coach.
so I mean, if that was better for him on a personal level, that's cool. But as a fan, it took me out of what I was kind of wanting from Wale. So it's interesting.
MMG is over with, period.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything from them in a minute.
Damn.
Are they literally done? Or
It's a
just
wrap.
haven't been putting stuff out?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Wrap it up. Wrap it up, then.
Wrap it up, yeah.
Yeah. So, but like I was saying, as far as us doing new things with the show, I think being able to not just give our gems that we naturally give off, being poets, because first off, I want to do a plug real quick. We're gonna do plugs throughout, but beyond your definition, follow Instagram. But you have your book. We talked about it early in the episode. All right,
Check
that's
it out.
enough. Yes.
That's enough. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's
I'm
all.
gonna just
That's
do
it.
that point.
But just as far as just giving off more resources. So affirmations with that.
The hat's coming off.
That snap.
Oh, the locks is out.
The locks are out.
Mother Nature locks. sucks. But so different things to give us just like some spice and like some positivity. You know what I'm saying? So
Word.
Yeah.
And just going into kind of one of the aspects that we add to the show, we got this thing called
yeah, go ahead, my fault.
oh, I didn't know if that was the right timing for it or not, but you know, talking about the poetic virtues. So poetic virtues, the idea of what we want to talk about when we add this segment is just something that is a some type of positive affirmation or something that you can take into whatever you're doing in life, period, whether you're an artist or not. It's a principle that helps us in our poetry and our art that can also help you in life in general. And this week, our poetic virtue is patience. Patience is very important. I know as a writer, and I know you guys as well, when you're trying to craft something, a lot of times you don't want to feel like you're rushing it. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in a situation where I had to write something, I felt like I was rushing it, either because I started writing it too close to a show that I wanted to perform it at, or something like, or the worst one is when you're in the studio, you got studio time, and you're trying to rush through it because you want to make that 3-hour block count.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, so you rushing your art.
You only got the equipment for the night.
Exactly. So, but patience brings out so much more in your art because you have the time to hear it, proofread, figure out what you want to keep, what you want to drop, if it still impacts you the same way a week later, like. And then we have that patience in life, obviously more so. You let it's almost like you cooking and you want to have that crock pot. You want to get all the flavor in there, versus when you just microwave meal, that microwave music, that microwave art. You know, it's
so.
Said that microwave music. Let's rewind.
That's a whole nother thing.
That is.
Said I got that crock pot.
You got that crock pot? Is that one of your lines?
Nah, man, needs to be though.
Yeah, I got that crock pot.
That slow cook in the oven versus that microwave. You know what I mean? That
slow
patience
cook wins out every time.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone through something without using patience to create something, and it
yeah.
Did it turn out dope though?
Yeah. Oh, it turned out.
Yeah.
I think so. For me, my journey with patience and poetry is more of like waiting for things to fall into place, not even just with particular pieces, but also with building companies, with getting opportunities for shows and things, just being patient and, you know, putting that work in there, but just knowing things are going to come to you, features are going to come to you, opportunities, competitions, different spotlights are going to come to you, but just be laying the foundation, just patiently waiting that one opportunity you're going to get. And then you get on Poetically Correct. But like, yeah, just always keeping positive vibes and not trying to stay stagnant or be frustrated that it's not happening for you the very next day. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, have been at this for years. I know I started writing when I was like 13. So it's like, this isn't something where it's just, you're going to know every metaphor in the world and be able to bend, you know, any type of simile day two of your artist career.
Using that patience, how have you all, because we all grow as writers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm looking back at some things I've spit. I was looking on my IG. I'm like,
oh man, don't do it.
I'm looking at old videos like, this shit's whack. This shit I'm putting out now, I'm in my bag. And then I'm probably going to look 6 months from now, like, that shit was whack. I mean, I think it's kind of dope, but understanding, accepting where we were at one point and then watching it grow and watching the process. So what's something that you picked, like just one thing that you can look back at your earlier self? It could be a year ago from now, and that you grew from, and that you be like, "Ooh, I'm glad I don't do that anymore."
Damn.
Yeah, I know this is
for me, music is one of them. For me, I hear a lot of songs where I made when I was rapping and stuff like that. I was like, I'm so mad I put that out. Why didn't somebody tell me? And sometimes people do try to tell you, you don't listen. It's like, dang, I should have listened. And you realize you were not in your bag at all. You were in somebody else's bag. Like, that's not you.
You gonna play one of them? Give us one of those singles.
I'm like, ooh, I have a 16 that I'm just like, why did I do this? It's still ingrained.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what do you mean? Like, do you feel like it wasn't just the bars weren't there? Was it just too childish, or was it?
For me, it's like I've become a lot more metaphorical and just more free with talking about certain content. Whereas in the past, I wouldn't even say a year ago. I would say like maybe when I first started slamming intensely, like maybe 5 years ago, it's just kind of so literal. It's like, I love you, instead of like, my heart's exploding and doing all these different things. You know, like, it's just so,
came. It's like, it was so
I
want you back.
It was so literal. And it's just like, there's so many other ways you could have said this, girl.
1,000.
Yeah.
But it's also like just kind of amazing to be able to watch your timeline and be like, okay, this trajectory is going the right way.
Yeah. For me, it would be more so like, because I didn't grow up knowing a lot about music. I didn't do band or anything like that. So when I was rapping, I didn't realize how much music was still a part of that. So a lot of times I was just rapping and just like, I had no idea of having a specific flow outlined or having like even a melody or how I wanted to switch it up.
Did you know what made a bar?
I knew I made a bar, yeah.
Okay.
But I would just
because I never did. No, I didn't learn what a bar was till like 2 years ago. Real talk. I just go in there and start spitting.
Hell yeah. And so I would just kind of, like you said, go in there and start. I would just write and pretty much try to fill it up with as many things I thought were dope as possible, but they wouldn't necessarily flow together.
Gotcha. You just putting together the punchlines.
Just putting together the punchlines and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
That is kind of cool because I noticed that in my work I was looking as far as the punchlines.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know how to build a story.
Yeah.
Now
the build is the biggest
right.
thing
And now it depends what with your venue or where you're gonna post it or where you're gonna perform it. Because like I do something for Instagram. Because things I do for Instagram are just for Instagram.
Okay.
But I remember when I first started on Instagram, you only had 15-second videos. So
that was the worst.
Yeah.
That was the worst.
So you couldn't build up a story.
That was like back when you had to keep holding Snapchat.
Exactly. So I had to make sure that I had to put it to where you got the punchline in the bar like within that 15 seconds. Then it got to 30 seconds. I'm like, then it gave me some more time. Now like a whole minute. I'm like, oh, snap.
Now with the minute, you just don't even know.
Oh man,
right.
Just, what? I don't
You
need
can
to
make a sandwich, then do the poem.
I don't need a minute now.
Definitely with being able to read audiences, though, I would say that's a skill that's acquired, especially with just being a slam poet. It's not even really all the time about the particular content or poem that you want to do, but sometimes it's reading the audience. So I go, even if I'm just going to different audiences, different open mics and things, or even in different cities, it's like, ooh, I know this would go over well with this type of audience. Like, this is an older audience. They're not really going to get my poem about Meek Mill just because that wasn't their generation. But if I'm in a millennial artist and I see a lot of people who look like they might be hip hop fans, okay, it's time to do that Meek Mill poem.
Right.
And I think that's just important for people to read if they're interested in, even gaining a following, even if you're not into the slam. If you are slamming, then obviously for the point you want it to buy well.
For the slam, yes. Because sometimes I feel like I have to be in that mood. Like I hate trying to based on what the audience is feeling. Right. And sometimes you don't really know it may look like they feeling a type of way.
But it may be some underlying.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I hate because then I have to go into that mode and I may not be feeling that mode. It
kind of makes it fun though, because it's like for me, like yourself. Playing your card. Yeah, like because you go into an open mic or whatever type of performance I'm going into. I have maybe 5 on hand that it's like I could potentially do these 5. Oh, but like I'm deciding which ones like. And maybe you do a tester like feeler poem, and then you kind of see what the audience rocks with.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm stealing from you that I love.
Oh gosh,
the short haikus.
Yes,
that is like haikus. A dope concept. Like I'm gonna start doing it like just like a couple of lines like before you even get started, just to warm up the crowd, see where they at.
Love haikus, and it's just an icebreaker to get people. Even just knowing kind of the banter to say between your pieces, there's still like a learned behavior with that. Because it's like if you go and even spit something that's fire, we've all seen something that was so powerful, but the audience just didn't get it because they weren't ready for it.
They weren't. You have to build up to it. Plus, or is it fire or is it based on the delivery?
It can also be that too.
Oh, hold on, pause that. That's a whole nother show right there. That's a whole nother show. And you know what? I think that goes into talking about slam poet because what you are a dope slam poet at that. I mean, she's you know what I'm saying. No, wait a minute. What did you win? You won national. Oh,
so this is about to age me, and like I'm even old for saying that. But like this was 2014. I was the first national haiku slam champion with College Union's poetry slam.
Damn.
So that was really fun.
I can see that because
be on the resume.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can see that because she has like you come on the mic now, you just like you nasty with it. But you started when you were 16. So it makes sense.
Can I ask a follow-up question off of what he just said? Where does your confidence come from? Was it always there or has it built up over time or
foolishness? I guess I just always have been kind of like, run this direction and hopefully there won't be a wall stopping. Okay. So I'm just like, But I think it's also just knowing, I don't know, something that you're just meant to do and you can just feel that like this is just authentic for you. This is what you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that it's just like it feels right and it's just also learned behavior.
Yeah, okay. So it feels right and you just trust that and go full force.
Bless you.
Yeah, and then just also being comfortable. So because I used to do radio, hosting and emceeing events, it's kind of like you have to be ready to do stuff on the fly. So I make mistakes all the time, but I just fill the space with another word or go off and freestyle and people don't know.
But it's crazy how many gems you pick up just from that mentality. Because I remember when I was really getting into rapping and stuff like that, people would say like, you gotta be ready to spit at any time. So that's something I took to heart. It's like, if you want to be a lyricist, you gotta be able to spit at any time. So I practiced that, and that actually happened. I remember I was at the grocery store. I used to work at Harris Teeter. Shout out to Harris Teeter. And I was trying to tell.
Don't shout out Harris Teeter.
I was trying to tell
cookies
this,
are good.
bruh, it's a little expensive, but I mean it's still cool.
The cookies are free.
They are free. This girl,
Cookies are free?
yeah, you know how the sugar cookies out front.
Nah.
You know.
I was trying to get this girl to come to the show. This was like years ago. So I was trying to convince her to come to the show, and she wasn't. You know how you try to convince somebody to the show, but they don't want to come. They ain't heard nothing. So she's like, I don't know. Like I'm gonna need you to hear something. So
it's like, this is my moment.
in the middle of between aisle 1 and the U-Scan checkout, I just started spitting bars, and like, so I'm spitting the bars at the end. She's like, "Oh, okay, that's dope." And then she wanted to come. You know what I mean? So you had to be, you literally had to be ready at any time.
Okay, before we move on with the show, now I have to hear like craziest place you've spit a poem.
Dang.
Because here's
I don't know. That was random as hell.
But felt right.
Wait.
Yo, we got sound effects.
If you see me on my phone, it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I'm doing like editing and producing it at the same time.
Hell
so
yeah.
I'm listening to you, but I just felt we got sound effects now, and I felt like that was the perfect place to put it.
Yes.
Just a random ass moment.
right.
That was dope.
It was.
All
What's
right.
your craziest place? Or whoever wants to start.
I just the craziest place. I would say it's a tie. So we used to do this thing in undergrad to make money where it'd be like poetry grams during Valentine's Day. So you could literally order like a poem for a day.
Oh, wow.
And then we would go deliver it and like literally just start spitting a poem randomly wherever they were and like give them the poem printed out in a piece of candy or something.
Wow.
Hustles, man.
That is dope.
Like,
That's fresh.
Ramen
Yeah.
will make you do some crazy things. Like
fresh.
I just randomly
Like,
went.
I got
into-
some candy for you, and yes, it's chocolate too, just like you.
Hey.
But just
That was the time for
imagine
the
like
sound
no one
effect.
knows you're coming and like you just walk in the door. Like so that was probably like one of the craziest places because that was just randomly in like a quiet area where I just like walked up to perform this thing and sis was at a meeting. So like
Yes.
she was like, what? Like, and she doesn't know what's coming. No one like there knows really what's going on. So that was pretty funny. And then the second craziest place would probably be on the airplane.
Oh, wow.
So I had
Somebody asked you on the airplane?
I had books with me and I was just talking to somebody like, yeah, I'm an author, blah, blah, blah. And of course, again, like, oh, I want to buy your book, but I wanted to like hear a little bit of something. And then you got to give them that smooth sample.
Yep.
So
Hell
was
yeah.
performing there right in air, in the
Did
middle of
they-
the air.
Did they get you to get up
They
in the
bought
aisle?
a book.
No.
No. I wasn't trying to get arrested. You know, I want to be able to fly.
Hell yeah.
Put a show.
Right,
Put
see,
a show. Up
Yeah.
up in the
He
air.
wants me to not be able to fly.
Yeah, he was trying to get you kicked off the plane,
Yeah,
man.
I want you to fly.
We're mid-flight.
They
I
turn
can't
around and see
stand up.
a black woman yelling in the middle of the aisle.
Right, the seatbelt light's on.
And you know she came from Slam, so she was probably all dramatic with the, you know what I mean?
And if you would have did sex passport, and they would have asked you, "What's
That
your
would've been hilarious.
passport?"
That wasn't written
While
by
up in
me.
the air.
Yeah.
Man, craziest place. Not too many places crazy. Because I have to be like, I don't know. I keep one on me to do.
Yeah.
But it depends where you catch me at. My mind's there because my mind is a million places. So if my mind's not there, I'm gonna spit probably like a few lines, and then that's it. I'm not gonna really go like in because my mind may not be there.
Right.
But I will say, probably like it was at an event I was doing.
Okay.
I told a dude I did poetry. He was like, "Do me something right now." Do me something right now.
Some people
Man,
do that.
I was at,
though.
yeah, I was at, no, it was at a trade show. We working a trade show.
Oh.
And we just like kicking it while we waiting for the crowd to come. He's one of them Hotep brothers. He's like,
Oh my God, they're the worst.
he's like, I think he wanted to hear some Black Power stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I had one ready for him. He was looking at me.
That one Hotep man. He knew how to crowdsource. Like he was like, this is what he wants to hear.
There it is.
Spit something for me, brother. He was looking at me and spit something for me, brother. Yellow ass teeth.
It's the worst, man. I got another one I can say too.
What's that?
When Obama was up for re-election in 2012, we had a block party at UNCG.
Nice.
Okay.
And they had me perform at the block party. And the block party, we had the keynote speaker at the block party was Russell Simmons.
Wow.
So
What?
it was Russell Simmons was there. Tyson Beckford was there.
And don't tell me you got to spit in front of them.
Listen, bro. So Tyson Beckford was there. What's the name of the girl? Chanel Iman was there, the model.
Uh-huh.
And this.
Oh, I I know who you're talking about.
This other
Yes.
white dude, I don't know who he was. I think he was an artist too, but I didn't know who he was. So we performed whatever. I was supposed to perform when Russell Simmons and everybody was walking up and they was there, but they didn't do that. The lady who was hosting it, I guess she wanted to have like time to speak, so she cut me short, and then she spoke and then brought everybody up, so they missed them. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this happen though. So after the show, like Russell Simmons and their car and or bus or whatever it was like one of them in between joints.
Yeah.
It was downstairs, so I went up
the
there.
Sprinter.
Yeah, so we all handed our people was handing their CDs to the driver, but I was like, nah, we need more. So like we all took a group picture, and so it's like we had a group picture on the sidewalk. Outside the space, and it was like 3 rows, right? So Russell Simmons and them was in the front row, and I was like in the back row. I was like, man, this is not working for me. We gotta figure out how to make this happen. So as soon as the picture took, I just bust into a poem right there. I just started spitting. I'm like, it's the beginning, so here's the top.
Oh, there was that one?
Yeah. So I was just trying to like get my moment off, and I did that, and like Russell Simmons like jumped, and like he turned, and like they went straight to the bus. Like I was like, bro, I scared him, man. And then afterwards, he tweets. He's like, you know, I can't. What he say? I can't give you. I can't. Basically, I can't put you on. You gotta put yourself on. It was something like that. He tweeted just in general.
That's what he did.
Man, I thought
He laughed at you, wrong.
Yeah.
I thought that would have a happy ending.
It didn't have a happy ending.
really did.
But that was the craziest. That was probably the craziest instance.
Damn.
He subtweeted you, son.
He did. Russell Simmons.
Subtweeted you,
He
son.
subtweeted. Yo.
But also that lady who like stripped you of your chance, though.
Damn. But no, shout out to her, yo, because she came out to an event last year to support. And
Okay.
I had an internship at a radio station out there in Greensboro.
Uh-huh.
She was like the only black lady at the station. And so
Okay.
she looked out. So she was real cool, and she put it together. So I'm glad I had the opportunity.
Okay.
You know, we all came from radio, so we know how that goes.
Right. I mean, that's hilarious, actually, that they were like, oh, we don't know what's going on, and like ushered him away, though.
Yeah.
Your poems are powerful. That's what you get from that.
Hell yeah.
I'll be like, hey, Russ, no. Where you going? Come back. Nah. Oh, but I was going into you being a slam poet, being the great poet that you are, that you...
You're just going to make my head too big for these headphones. That's what the goal is.
Oh, is that why they were starting to bulge out a little bit?
Yeah, I had to
Oh,
take the
okay.
hat off. That's
All right, I
why.
feel you.
It started to get tight.
So... For the people that want to like begin, and this I love seeing, like, especially we were talking about this before you came, Rome and I. We were talking about, like, as far as people just fresh out of college onto the poetry scene here in Charlotte. It's dope to see them, you know, into the scene and into involving themselves and not being afraid just to go ahead and spit it. But there's some people that have these thoughts and really want to get into it and really want to spit these bars. They have a lot of feelings, emotions, thoughts, and they want to be metaphoric about it. They want to throw a little similes in there. Double entendres.
Double entendres, if you will.
Yes. So how would you say starting a poem? How would you start a poem?
Yeah, sure. So getting into our writer's block segment of the show.
Yes.
I'm excited for this part. Just kind of giving tips on how to start up a poem. Because we all have writer's block every now and again. Everybody gets it. Where you really just have a blank sheet of paper in front of you and a trembling hand and a pen. So I'm here to try to like help deal with that. So I really try to challenge myself to, one, it's really great to have an accountability buddy. So someone who every other day, or if you can only do maybe once a week, you're trying to balance this with school, work, having someone who's going to send you prompts and you also send them prompts. And that's just been really helpful in my life. I still to this day have people who will send me prompts. I have some group chats with other writers and poets, and sometimes I'll meet in person, but even if I can't virtually, we'll just put in there, here's a line, go line for line, or just say, write a poem about water today, write a poem about being a black woman today. And I've always tried to keep that handy. And even if it doesn't spark anything, I can always go back to that and have notes saved in my phone. But I did have a specific prompt for you guys today if you're ever trying to start something up.
Ooh. Hold on.
We got sound effects,
So,
right?
again, shameless plugs. I have a company, Beyond Your Definition. And what the big focus is just merging identity with art. And just exploring your identity with art. So one thing that I always tell kids to do, or just people doing a workshop, is first think of 3 identities that you have. So I'm gonna do it with y'all too, if that's okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So random 3 identities that you have. It can be anything. And
Yeah.
just to go over these identities, it could be Christian, it could be American, it could be black man, it could be just a man, it could be someone who wears glasses, someone who's tall. You could be your age, just different labels that you wear in general.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys get your 3 in your head, and I'll go ahead and say my 3 is
Okay, go ahead,
the
yeah.
example. So woman, black, and then my third one for today, I went to church, so I'm gonna put Christian.
Okay.
So those are the 3 labels. And then when you guys have your 3, let me know.
Okay.
I think I got my.
You want to go or you want?
I'll jump in.
Flip a
I'll be
coin?
quick.
I'll be rock paper scissors shoot. How you want to do this?
Man.
No, go ahead.
I was about to really play rock paper scissors.
I'm ready now.
I was trying to figure out how I was gonna do it with the mic in my hand.
Cool. Got the mic in his
Artist.
Okay.
Southerner
Hey.
and black
Okay.
Southern artist.
Interesting. For myself, it's actually funny you say that because I think about it all the time. Lover, revolutionary.
He said things about it all the time, so it's about to be epic.
Yes, it is.
Those two are epic so far.
And then
Revolution.
and just entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
That's
that's a powerful one.
Yeah, that's
right,
dope.
because I split. I have like we were talking about this last time, as far as like 2 like personalities that we carry, and I want to ask you all this question, but and see if it pertains to you. But I know for me it's a little different because we were talking about the Superman. He was explaining how the difference between Greg and Superman.
Yeah.
And I understand artists have their different egos,
Alter ego,
alter egos that they carry with themselves. But it's kind of
Right.
funny, like Poetically, right, and then Benny. Benny is like the entrepreneur. Poetically is the artist.
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes Benny has to talk to Poetically, in the sense of, hey, make this business move. Poetically has to talk to Benny like, okay, here's the art form and how
Right.
something should go, right? But at the end of the day, they both come together, right? And I never really catch myself on an alter ego moment. I don't know. I'm still kind of studying myself because I feel it's the artist in me is telling Benny story
Right.
and speaking his thoughts as well, but he's putting it into art form. So I still, while I'm those different
They're trying to
personalities,
balance those different things.
they still come out as one.
Yeah.
So it's never really a different alter ego. I don't think the outside, inside, this shit crazy. Shit gets lit.
we beefing. There was this quote I saw once that was like,
Okay.
"I wish you could see the inside of my head, but then again, you wouldn't last a day there." And it's like, that's so my head. Like it's always so much going on.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with the writing prompt that I was suggesting for the audience too. Like it's about how are those 3 different identities shaping what you do every day. And what out of those 3 identities sticks out to you the most. So usually I'll ask people to like say example you had Poetically and you had Benny and then you had a third thing, just picking that one thing that if you only had to identify, you can only tell somebody one thing about you, which identity or label would be most important to you.
Go getter.
Okay, so like writing a poem about how you're a go-getter. And if you really want to challenge yourself, think about just something you did today, whether it was brushing your teeth, driving your car, whatever it was. Think about how that relates to the identity. And I actually had a poem that came out of this where I did a poem about driving as a black person because the label I used was black and then the actual thing that I had done that day was driving. So it's just like, oh, well, how is this identity affecting that task I'm doing every day?
Oh wow, that's dope.
What's a length? Like what's the length that you would say? Because some people don't know how much to write or what's too short, what's too
Sure.
long.
Well, for me, like same with you, I have specific lengths for Instagram versus, something for my book or something for a performance. Honestly, I feel like it's whatever length you see fit. And I know people get frustrated like, oh, well, that's easy to say. But truly, like, again, I'm that same person who would write the haiku, which would just be 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5, or that poem that's like 3 pages long. But if you're spitting it in front of people and I kind of have a fast cadence, it's not, even though it's 3 pages, it's still only going to go for the 2.5 minutes.
Right.
So I think it just depends on, what the vibe is. Like sometimes I'll even think something's finished, come back and add something later, or have versions of stuff that it's like, this is what it would be for a slam, because there's limits in slam for those who haven't done it before, like where you would have to have this 2 minute, whatever second poem. So I would have that shorter version when I want to slam, but also I know I have that extended cut version that if I'm just at an open mic.
I was about
I
to
know
ask.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
Right.
y'all had those extended.
Or you
limited
feel the
edition?
audience,
limited
you know,
edition
the
those.
audience doesn't want to hear that lengthy thing, so you
Yeah.
just kind of have a shorter version.
And
But-
you know that is I want to follow up on that.
Okay.
Because you started and you just brought it back around.
Okay.
How is it? Because I've been there before where I've been at an event and I was like, why is he still spitting? Like, this poem is long as crap. But there's other times you spit a poem, it'd be short and people are like, okay, it's over already.
Right. They
It's
just
like,
fell in love.
what is that internally or what? Like,
Well,
how do you,
okay, so for myself, I know most of my joints are like 2 minutes and a half.
Me too.
Or like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because as fast that, I feel like I say what I need to say, then get out. Get in, do a job,
Right.
get in. I'm going to say whatever I have to say as far as how I feel, make you think or drop some facts or talk about a situation. I feel like, and this is just me, it gets to a point where once you feel like you said enough, that's it. And you're saying enough could be 30 seconds of something. Saying enough could be 4 stanzas.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's definitely like, I feel like sometimes we just field test poems. Like I know I will, like I'll just do stuff at an open mic or wherever it is, even maybe for y'all, like just 2 different people who are
Definitely,
other
yeah.
artists. And it's like, if the build up to the story seems like it's kind of like waning with them, like I'm losing their attention, then it's like, okay, let me just cut a couple lines there. Or if they're looking like intently, like they wanted more, then maybe I add more. It also depends on audience. Like, so
Yeah.
I've worked with kids in the past, and like kids just are not going to be able to pay
Yeah.
attention as long as like an older adult.
So that's interesting right there. Oh, matter of fact, we're going to hold that. Because I
All
want
right.
that to be our next Writer's Block
Yeah.
topic about how to write for your audiences.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that
That's
would be
good.
great
That's
actually.
dope.
Because we end up talking, we end up using all the different topics here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But well, the first segment of Writer's Block went amazing.
I like
though.
that.
Hell
And I'm
yeah.
excited to maybe hear what you guys like produce out
So-
of your Writer's
so-
Block.
Yeah. I need
Okay,
to
so
make sure I write down.
so like when we come back, we'll just
Share what we got.
we-
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I like that. I like that concept.
Yes.
I don't know. I got these sound effects. I haven't listened to all of them.
That was just like giving me Little Richard vibes.
Right. Yeah.
Which one?
James Brown, Little Richard kind of thing.
I feel like DJ. I haven't listened to all these.
I'm sorry. I'm still gassing that we got sound effects now.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, because we
It
didn't.
is pretty
Because
amazing.
We
Rome
coming
said
up.
that we need some. A little
Now
epic
we're
right
getting
there.
a little crazy
I like
All
that.
right, my fault.
when you're having too much fun.
Yeah. Left to my own devices. I should
I
have.
feel like all his poems, like,
Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
no, it's about to be shots fired. That was actually perfect. though.
Oh, man.
I feel
Oh,
like
man.
now Poetically is about to show up at the open mic like, oh yeah, plug me in, dog. And like in the middle of his poems, you're so beautiful.
Yeah, he's about to have sound
Like,
effects and everything.
Like it'll just have like some type of like, like just playing in the background.
yeah.
If I could have sound effects when I'm speaking, I would definitely.
Oh,
Oh, but
man.
I'm gonna talk about that because we're doing something new called Sonically Correct. We did it unintentionally when we were talking about Cardi B's,
Yeah.
her second song. But I was like, okay, let's do that more. So I'm gonna talk about that actually sound effects. But as an artist, as creators, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do it.
I
I
can't.
didn't mean to do that. But as an artist and as creators, I think it's important to know like the legal way, legally doing something correct versus just going out here talking how we want to talk or whatever, create
Right.
however we want to create.
The
And
business side of
the
it.
business side of it, exactly. So, and this actually came from this. I was thinking this week when I was putting this together, thinking about like the president. And then, but I don't know if you heard, but there's an author. He just put out a book Friday,
Yes.
and
I
so
heard about this in the news.
book, right, about all. I mean, the White House is leaking like a loose faucet.
Yeah.
Information, right? and and he actually sent a cease and desist letter to the author, which the book is out now. Far as to stop talking
Also,
about
like freedom of the press. So
right.
Right.
So I want to talk about defamation, right?
Okay.
And understanding far as libel versus slander, and because it's so to understand what defamation is, like with this whole situation right here, it was kind of tricky because he was saying cease and desist because the information was coming out. But let's talk about far as freedom of press, right?
Right.
Libel, to understand what libel is when something's written. and you're defaming someone, you're putting you're harming their reputation. It has to be their reputation, harming their reputation.
And also lies too.
Lies, exactly. So it goes right there into the reputation. And slander is spoken. Now, we're all spoken word artists. So we have to, I guess if we want to talk about someone, we want to talk about Bay, you know.
Yeah.
Or we want to talk about, we may want to talk about something going on politically. And how we use that, how we use the power, because being artists, being poets, we carry a different type of power whenever we perform.
Right.
So we have to understand the power of words. I always talk about it's
I'm
so
about
important.
to tie this in.
Okay.
So you know what this makes me think of? Again, now we got this feminine energy.
Okay.
Mary J. Blige. We all know her. We all love her. So like actually there was talk that she was gonna be sued by her ex because of the fact that he was saying it was like libel, that she was talking about their breakup and stuff so candidly on her album. But it's like, where do you draw that line between this is my experience and you were a part of my experience, but this is still my story, and then actually slandering someone's name, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
I think he's not really won the case, and I mean he was the one who stepped out on her anyway, but she's literally in her album, I don't know if you guys got to listen yet, but she's just talking about how she was cheated on and like how she's finding herself again. But it's like, these are things that he did, so where are the lies,
Yeah.
Well, I guess it goes down to, because they talk about livelihood. And when,
Right.
when you're damaging that person's livelihood and reputation. Now, if he can prove that he wasn't cheating,
right, which
does
is
he
the
really?
opposite.
Do you really? Hey, bruh. Hey, bruh. I gotta look at the camera on that one.
You
do
had
you really
Mary
wanna
J. Blige.
Do you really want to step out and say, "Yo, I wasn't cheating"?
That's
and
the thing.
provide facts?
I think that your definition is really a great thing for people to understand, because it has to be lies. It can't just be you damaging their reputation by telling the truth. I mean, if you're talking about, oh, she ripped my heart out, cheated on me, did blah, 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 blah. If that's all true, technically, I mean, you're not really like slandering their name. You're just saying the real events of what happened. Now, if you're making up stuff.
When you're alternative
facts.
Alternative facts. Yeah, I got a little tongue twisted. But you
I knew where you were going.
can't take your own. Someone can't take how you feel and sue against your feelings.
Right.
Or
that's your perception.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, believe it or not, our perspectives of reality are different amongst each other. I think that's funny. I was just telling somebody else, like, we had a little rough part, but it was because our realities were two different, perspectives. And you have to understand that. Now, when you understand that, you have to accept that, okay, they may not see where you're coming from, but I have to respect it. If I have to respect how they feel, but if it's damaging who you are, then that's different. And now, if you feel like, okay, I did you wrong, okay. Sometimes we have to admit when we have to admit our own flaws. Like if you said some crazy things and someone is speaking about it, you have to check yourself. That's a responsibility and accountability as growing up as being an adult,
I think
not being
part
a child.
of it too is like, again, we have like metaphors, we have onomatopoeia, all these different things and like poetic devices we can use. And it's like, even if it is about a particular person, I'm sure all of us have poems that are about a specific thing that would be interpreted as something completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like, you could have a poem that's really about break up sex with your girl, but sounds like it's about something completely different. Because you masked it with a metaphor. So I think you can still talk about those things, but just not, again, saying it so obviously. And that's even going to make you a better artist.
And did she use his name? I'm going back to the Mary
She never
J.
used his
Okay,
name.
so then in that case,
and also you're with Mary J. Like, I'm going down all these hits. Before she even
you
met
already
you,
knew you already A played.
You knew what you signed up for.
You knew what you was getting into.
Yeah.
It's like, it's tough because you don't want that person to not be able to, support themselves or live life on a certain way, but at the same time, there's consequences for your actions at the same time. And if you're married to a high profile person, if you're a high profile person, you're married to a high profile person and you're cheating on them, and their business is making music for public consumption.
Right.
And then you're also being selfish, because how many women are going through what Mary J. Blige went through and they're getting helped, or they're relating to somebody who's going through the same thing they went through, but you don't want that story out there because you're trying to cover up your mistakes.
Right.
And it depends if he has the same definition of cheating as she does.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at the story, but like it was.
Yeah, I gotta look at the story. I'm not gonna speak with that.
Like I'll say it briefly. Like it was, and this was actually proven too. He's like with the other woman now, but like it was basically artist she was nurturing, and like they were on. It was on their label because he was also her manager, and also running her label. And so, like, basically, he started to go on. She started seeing finances missing, and he was like funding going on trips with this girl.
Oh wow!
Which is like, come on. So,
Damn.
No, I give you one
son.
better.
I ain't got that sound
They
effect.
got a divorce, and he sued her for a settlement of like thousands per month. And he sued her to pay his child support on his kids that aren't even hers.
What?
And he's still with the girl.
Shout out to him. Hey, you are.
Nah,
He tried it. No, he really tried it.
Yeah, he tried it.
He won like the settlement though.
But see, because he's the manager and running the label and stuff like that, he knows how to play those games with people.
Right.
So that's why it's tough.
But it's like, come on.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And
I
then
don't
you
falter
want to
for
stop me creatively too. And it's not. It's really actually this album is amazing. I hate to say it, but Mary does make good music when she's in pain.
She does. You know what's crazy?
That's another question too. We got to do for another episode.
Okay.
Like, do you think it's like your poems are better when you're in pain?
Okay. Yeah,
But how do you feel about that dynamic of that relationship? Like, do you think that's something that's healthy to somebody, for somebody to be your boss, your manager, and your husband?
Hell no.
That's too much power for one person.
We need a sound effect for that.
Hold on.
But
That's too much power for one person, I feel like. To have that much influence over
she even talked about it on some of her radio interviews that she did, one on Hot 97 that I watched in particular. But she was just talking about how she gave him a lot of power because he was just someone who was an average guy, and she wanted to make him feel like he was a part of it. So she was like, oh, I'll actually bring you into the business side, give you all this power, and so that you feel like you're a part of my stardom, and it's not like me over here and then you're feeling like you're down here.
But Mariah,
but
Mariah,
I don't think it was I would do that. I think we see it all over reality TV. We see it with Kirk and Rashida. We see it with countless other examples, Stevie and Jocelyn, whoever.
Yeah.
So I know her last name, but like we see it all the we see it all the time.
There
like,
it is.
Don't business and pleasure. No.
Business. You know what?
But you know who broke my heart though with that? A-Marie. I used to have the biggest crush on Anne-Marie.
Oh,
and when I was in college,
don't break my heart. Anne-Marie's my boo.
when I got in college, I realized she got married to her manager. She's married to her manager. I don't know if they're still married.
I think it's just you spend so much time with them.
Yeah.
If you see that, even Diana Ross was married to her manager.
Good.
Like, literally, a lot of relationships, even old school stars,
Yeah.
are with their managers. I think it's just with the time on the road.
Yeah.
This person knows you well. This person is clearly a fan and believes in you. So I see how it could happen. But I don't see it happen. Maybe it can happen
Let me
where
put
they're
it. It can
already
be
your
tough
man-
though. Like, didn't it happen with Mariah Carey when she first got on? Who was that rap record? Was it?
I can't remember his name, but you're right.
It's something about the old guys.
Jermaine
Get
Dupri.
with the. No, not Jermaine.
No,
it was.
no.
Oh no, he
it was a white dude.
I'm way off. Until I want to be a pop culture.
Yeah.
That's Janet.
Oh, they back together too. I love.
Yeah, they
that.
are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
but let me tell you this: as someone,
Jermaine better not mess up. That's all I can say.
hell no. Woo! You seen Janet after her pregnancy? Oh, talk about
haven't
the
seen it.
snatch back.
The snatch back. I gotta see the
Snatch
picture.
that back, and I never had it.
What was you about to say?
Oh
though?
no! But let me tell you, look, as someone that grew up and their parents were in business together, it's something I said, yo, I'm never gonna get in business with my spouse. Now, let me tell you why. It's not because we not be in the same business. But if she has her business and I have a different business and we like use each other's services, that's different.
Okay.
Because you have to understand the dynamic of business and personal, and understand Bae and business partner.
Right.
Bae and business partner is two dynamics. You have to understand, you wake up to, you may be in a situation where you wake up to that person, you go to sleep with that person. That means all day you all are together. Can you really handle, because you're going through several different emotions, several different feelings, several different thoughts.
Right.
You're raging. You may want to start talking about business at breakfast. Yo, I don't want to talk about that shit right now.
Right.
And that can make somebody feel some type of way.
Yeah.
You know, you may want to start, we need to really get this down plan. Well, I just want to go like chill. Or
Right.
you may be a
when
case.
do you turn it off and turn
when do
on?
you turn it?
Yeah.
And when do you have to understand each other's space, right?
I have a devil's advocate kind of for that.
Okay,
You
go
made me
ahead.
think when you said the parents thing. This kind of came up. We had a meeting with all the poets kind of in the Charlotte area. Shout out to Charlotte Poetry, the hashtag.
Yeah.
Check it whenever you're coming into the city. But basically they brought up, spouses who actually sometimes hate poetry, but you're a spoken word poet. So that's the risk you run though when you guys aren't in business together. Like say you have this really does happen though. Say you have your own business. I'll give even out there with my parents as an example. My dad's like a visual artist and also makes furniture, whereas my mom's in the medical field and does not really understand artistry. So there's often like a frustration because she's like, oh, I see you working like till 6 a.m. in the morning, like in your studio doing stuff, and then you sleep all day. You know, just like not really valuing what
I understand
one
that's like
another
something,
do.
yeah.
And so, and it can come up even with that meeting where they were saying there's not many places for some artists to feel like they can share or have a collective of people to talk with about their art, because maybe the people around you, like your spouse, aren't really into spoken word, but you still love them because you love them for other reasons. I mean, opposites attract. So it's like, would you rather be in a situation where basically someone despise your poetry,
didn't
or
we
they
talk
were
about this
feeling
with
it?
B-Rock or something? I remember asking that. Because I'm like this, yo. You don't have to per se be a poetry head or like
Or
a
whatever
music
your
head,
business is, but
yeah, or whatever. But you gotta have some interest. You gotta,
Yeah.
you know. But I
I
want to talk.
agree.
But I want to talk about poetry real quick, because we're poets. You
Yeah.
have to like poetry. I'm sorry. You have to like. You have to like. You can't just say, oh, I don't really rock with that. Or is we not? Because I'm just saying, because we're not gonna rock, because that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk about. And if what I'm talking about doesn't even light you up, if I can't inspire you, you don't inspire me.
Yeah.
And so now going into the business part of it, if I have my own business, I think it's a respect thing and understanding. It's about willing to understand. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm doing? And it's saying, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You don't have to go and have to study and become a student of what I'm doing, but just understand
Right.
and take interest in and acknowledge and respect.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't even realize that was something, the struggle that those people have, those married up people who are poets, and they have struggles with,
It opened my eyes.
why are you
too,
out late
yeah.
at this open mic? Why are you doing this?
And
people
it
are,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it causes a point of jealousy or friction between the art and the relationship.
Yeah, they did bring it that up.
man.
I'm glad you just mentioned that. They were talking about how some people are jealous of the art or jealous of that side
Oh,
business.
The place that
Now-
it holds in that person's life.
I was about to say, okay, so that's two things to be jealous of. Are you jealous of the place that it holds,
Mm-hmm.
which is corny because we're talking about an actual thing. We're talking about
Feeling
something
like you're not a
abstract.
priority.
That's not-
Yeah.
Okay, that, or are you jealous because of the? Are you jealous because of what that person brings upon themselves, as far as being out? You're now a figure, right? You're a public figure. Attention,
what you're
awareness,
saying.
right? So the eyes
The
that you,
position it
the
puts you in,
position
yeah.
and the eyes that you attract.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
position-
Superman was
are-
talking about this. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about this.
Are you jealous of the position or the passion, basically?
Jealous of the position or the passion? That
And
should
it
be
may be a
book.
mix. It may be
It
a
might
mix.
be a
Yeah.
mix. That's interesting. Let me sit up.
Because I've
is.
seen where people have been. I've had people where I've talked to whatever, and they kind of love feeling the type of way because we out. You know what I'm saying? You may be out at an event and you may not come back home.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 12, you know, or because you're out and you're attracting certain eyes.
Yeah.
Now I've never had someone jealous of my passion of poetry. Well, I've had someone jealous of passion of my business, but not my passion of poetry. That's kind of whack.
Yeah.
You get out my
I
face.
feel like I've kind of felt someone jealous of the passion of poetry, but it was more of, they didn't call it that. It was more of they were upset because they didn't feel they were put as a priority because I was putting my business first and my poetry and stuff first. And I don't really think I was apologetic about that really because my main goal right now is just to grind and like set up an empire for myself. But it all kind of at the root of it was my art.
Okay.
So I felt like that person was a little bit jealous of the time I put into that because they
Yeah.
felt like, oh, that's time not on the phone with me or not willing to like plan events with me because they're doing this.
Yeah.
Whereas the platform, I feel like they almost liked that part of it.
Yeah.
Because people knew who you were or they would have cool events to go to. I've never experienced that, but I could see how it could come out, especially with a male who's being a performer and like, or I guess vice
Both
versa.
ways,
Vice
shit.
versa. I was like
it
thinking
be,
like,
it be dudes jealous.
Yeah.
Your corny ass. No, I need to
It was
no,
trauma.
stop with this
It
clown
was
shit.
trauma.
Yeah, no, it be yo, okay, we gonna get no matter of fact, cause we got a new segment called PSAs, and I got some PSAs.
All right, so what's the
'cause it's
PSA?
No,
We're
we
moving
not
into
there
that.
yet.
We gonna get there.
We gonna
though.
get there, and I'm gonna keep the same energy for all this clown shit that y'all dudes are doing, yo. Yo, these dudes are doing some clown shit, yo,
yeah.
and they be so sneaky with it.
It's so much passion right now.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
They be
Yeah.
cool, like, you know what I'm saying? But then it back, oh my gosh. All right,
Yeah.
my fault. Go ahead. How we get to that? How
We'll
did you bring
take
that
this-
out of me?
I don't
What did you
know.
just do to me, Mariah?
I pushed the
Pyro.
button, clearly.
Yo, Lee is not having it in 2018.
No.
bro.
Having
he
it
said leave
2019,
that in 2017.
2020, 2021, 2022, all the way up to 2090.
And this is all based off of the slander versus libel thing. So,
Right.
but that's the whole conversation that we were having about poets and what you get on the mic and say, because that's the thing. Because like like the diss poems and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And you get up there and you airing out people's business, like
Right.
that can get dicey. So
It
Right.
can.
most people don't put names in their poems and stuff like that. If you know the situation, if you know them, you might know the situation, but they'll leave out.
Right.
I won't talk about a situation if it's going to degrade your character. I won't do that.
Okay.
Now, if it's true, I'm still not going to do it. But I'm gonna be subtle. What you gonna know? I'm sending shots. There's only been one. Like I think we talked about. But it's only one time I've used somebody's name. And
Yeah,
no,
we
actually,
did talk about this.
yeah, and in my twisted, because I'm such a twisted person. In my head, I was like, damn, this shit just rhyme tight. The way I just did it, and I was like, it's just rhyme tight. I wasn't thinking, I'm just.
And it was subliminal.
It was It was
Yeah.
subliminal. Plus, I was like, nobody knows who you are. No, no shade, but like nobody. I don't think no one knows gonna know who you are.
Yeah.
But
It can get a little dicey too, like when it's not just romantic partners, but also just a history in the past. So like, poets may talk about like, just talking about alcoholism running in their family, or I'm just giving examples.
No, I love the path that you're going down.
Yeah, like
yes.
talking about like, these are issues that went on with my parents. These are issues that went on with my
Right.
siblings, with my kids and me. But it's all part of the poem. And again, it's part of their story, but they're also kind of talking about another person's story. And that gets into
Parents don't like that shit the most.
they don't. And sometimes people feel honored by it, but that's if it's a positive story, right?
Yeah.
So that can make it a little dicey too,
gotta
because
take
it's like someone gets back to so and so saying that this was out there, or even I can say with publishing a book, there was some nerves where it didn't say anything particularly, but it just talked about my history, and I didn't feel like, is someone gonna feel hurt by certain things? And so I do think that that's a part of a heavy load that sometimes artists carry too, because it's like you want to be authentic and you want to tell a story, but you also don't want to feel like you're putting your whole family under a microscope or you're gonna offend someone, but you also don't want to leave out a part of what that poem was supposed
Isn't
to
that
be.
funny? As artists, we feel more comfortable with telling our stories to strangers and our feelings to strangers than
that's
we do
why, I
to
think.
the people. It's
Because you won't get any judgment from a stranger. Like, I guess for
degree.
me, it's like if I say like blah blah blah, daddy and grandmama
well,
did this,
we don't
they
care.
don't know who they are.
We don't
Yeah.
care.
It's
We,
just
that stranger, we don't hold their feelings dear to our heart.
Right.
Family members, we hold their feelings dear to our heart. So now when we say something and they react or they want to defend themselves because they feel like they're being attacked, then it's like, yo, you don't this is what I'm saying. You don't understand.
Right. You
so now
didn't get my point.
It blocks our feelings and we can't release it. We release it to that stranger because they have no biased position.
Right.
Now, unless you said you killed your parents and then you start talking about that, that's wild. And then they're biased
Not
against. I don't know. I went,
prosecution off a poem.
Yes, yeah. If you start,
So funny.
yeah. But no, yes, people that have no biased position are always going to be more an open place to talk to.
I've always felt that way though. Like I feel very comfortable going to me, even if they're like acquaintances or strangers, like just not knowing them very well, but you can tell them all these things you can't tell the real people in your life.
Yeah.
And that's just like the special part of what an open mic feels like, and what a space like that feels like.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You're supposed to keep. I was about to say you're supposed to keep it going with hell yeah. It's supposed to go back into a circle. I probably got a sound effect in there somewhere here for that.
But yeah, I never really found myself even like I don't typically write from the place of talking about a situation or a person, but I could see how if you got in that position, you would want to use your poetic devices, not just because you want to leave out their names and their feelings, but even just as a writer, a lot of times you're just more interested in things when they're more nuanced like that. I don't know if you feel like that, but sometimes
It's relatable.
the most obvious go-to thing is not usually the first thing you want to say.
Yeah.
That might be what you want to say to that person, but when you make it a piece of art,
Right. It's kind of just covert, like this is what I was going to say, but it's masked by all these other little things.
and I try to say things in a way that I feel like can help other people. So a lot of times I'll write it from a perspective of dealing with something that everybody can
Relate to.
Yeah.
I wrote with that too. Yeah, you got to because it makes it relatable.
It's crazy though, because sometimes I feel like the most specific pieces are sometimes the most
Really?
Like,
Okay.
yeah, like at times, like it's like I was writing about a specific instance, but that's when someone will come up and say like, "Oh, this really touched me," and I'm like, in a different way where it's like, "Oh, that wasn't even what I was writing about," but I'm happy that's what you got out of it, type of thing.
That's dope. That transparency is dope.
Yeah, because it makes you feel like human. You know what I'm saying? People were talking about this the other day. far as Instagram pages to follow, far as between like people that just post little poems or whatever. And I was saying I like to see a little face. I like to see a little selfie
Don't
here and
shade
there.
my page.
No, that's not your page. Stop.
kidding.
No, but I would say I like to see some personality. I don't have to see Boo. I don't have to see your family and things like that. But I want to see the face behind the art, and that's just me. I like the person. I like to know there's a human here, and not just anybody just creating this. I want to see what do you look like.
That's real.
That's the world we live in now. It used to be a time where you could be mysterious and you were praised about
like
that.
a Dr. Seuss type.
Yeah.
I've
Wait a
always
minute.
thought an
Have you ever seen Dr. Seuss?
I've never seen that.
No.
I just thought about that.
It's like an alias, so we don't even like. There's. I think you actually can like Google who's the real person that's Dr. Seuss. I don't know the name offhand.
Okay.
But like that was just a name that they made up. Or even J.K. Rowling, she actually used that name. No, but she used that name.
I know the
it sounded
story.
like a man.
It sounded like a man. That's how she
Yeah.
getting through the
Publishers,
industry.
right?
Yes.
So people definitely do it.
Wait a minute. Jamie Foxx made his name sound like a woman's name for.
I heard that too.
Damn, I can't remember
I
the
thought
name.
it was so
to
that-
get into the clubs.
Yeah.
Was it that to get into the clubs?
I thought it was because then they would call him on stage more just because they wanted. Like I remember hearing something about
but
making it
was
kind of like a feminine name.
Right.
I never heard of that story before.
Yeah.
I know he got the Fox from Red Fox. I didn't know where the Jamie came
Yeah,
from.
the Jamie. Yeah.
Because it's like, ooh, this is sensual, Jamie, and it's
Right.
like, I'm here.
Look at all her goofy and silly,
Right.
and that's why I guess I show. And I think there's a balance. There's of course a balance to everything. A balance to showing your personal life and what you want the people to see. Giving that people who you are, because that's how we consume now. Most people, unless you really, I'm trying to think of something that people gravitate to that they don't see the personality to. The younger generation, I can't think of anything. Older heads probably so, because they grew up in that time where they don't really care about you. My mom like, I don't need to know about all that you got going on. The young people, we want to know who's your boo. We want to know what you're going through. What are you eating today?
That's
we want to
so
know.
true, though.
We want to know all these things because it makes you. We want to know that we want to be in
Human.
your world. Yeah, we want to know you're human.
People
Go ahead.
Oh, like even when it comes to products, all I was gonna say is like even like say whatever jacket or things that we wear. Not everyone cares, but I know at least within people who buy certain brands, they like to know who's the owner of this brand. Even with Essence being fully black owned again, yay!
Oh yes.
It's like knowing that it's black owned. That really is going to affect like millennials
I'm about
care
to go,
about
yes,
things like that.
yeah.
With
Yeah.
Shea Moisture not being black owned, like people pay attention to those things and decide where to spend their money accordingly.
Yeah, hell yeah. I was thinking about. Only instance I could think of is like techno artists, like Daft Punk or something like that. You don't know them. You just go with their brand and you cool with that.
That's true.
You know
That's
what?
a perfect example.
But I think it's the way they shape their brand. They've made that a thing.
Or like her.
I don't know what her looks like.
But she's out now. Her is out.
Oh,
She came on her last album. She showed herself. She showed
I have to
herself.
see that.
How did you feel about that?
But she's been out. It's
Oh,
It's
okay.
actually somebody we know. Her name Gabby. She's from some show. If you're listening, you probably know. You'll probably do some research. But we'll do some research. But yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I'd love
actually
to
a
actually see
known
her.
figure. But she was just going. She
So
didn't want
was the
people to-
silhouette actually what she looked like?
Hell
or was
yeah.
it? Okay. Because I wondered about that.
She
I thought it would be hilarious if the silhouette was like, and then this was really like just a busty like BBW woman, and she's
Yeah.
like,
And then,
just like
so there's a him as well.
I heard.
I heard about
Yeah.
this.
Him is so corny.
Yeah, it is because he came out.
because of what he does though, he responds to her.
So all his songs are just responses.
To her.
Yeah.
Now if they came together,
She's not gonna do that.
it made a we.
Stop. I can't
a
take
group
it.
called we.
His and hers.
Does he already? What if they already?
ain't talking about mine. We.
What if they know each other already?
No, they don't, because her doesn't like him.
Oh,
Because he just copied
he-
her whole swag, basically. He just bit her
I think
style.
it's creative if you kind of know somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like if I respond to your poem and you kind
Yeah.
of respond, that's kind of dope because we know each other. But when you don't know the other person and you're getting notoriety off responding to my shit,
that's kind of whack.
yeah,
That's definitely whack.
and
on
to
now.
just be like, I'm gonna do the male version of this. Same thing.
like do your own.
Right.
Like don't take the whole kind of cadence and flow.
Yeah.
I like the idea of not knowing what the person looks like and still being able to
Really?
enjoy them, though. But yeah, but I don't think this generation is here for that.
No.
Yeah.
We were about to get her out of here. Her only had one more song before we got you out of here. Her, we weren't taking it anymore. We need to see a face.
People
Damn it!
were like, we gotta see her. We got.
I'm tired of you doing this and all your doing all that shit and all the photos. Stop. And Bryson doing the same shit. Bryson be trying to hide.
Bryson Tiller.
Everybody
Yeah,
knows
it's
what Bryson
introvert
looks
self.
like.
But I'm saying he be trying to hide.
He does.
Her and
Artists coming back out with real names. You remember in the 90s, everybody had like a nickname. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
we
had
talking
Ghostface
True,
Killer,
true.
Redman.
Yeah.
I have a Ghostface Killer album CD in my car still.
For
I don't
real?
know why. I really don't, yo. I
Were you a
used to-
Wu-Tang fan?
A little bit in my past. In my
Yeah.
past
Are you-
life.
But if you're in the so you're not now?
I mean, I was like a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk to her about how she feels about female rap because we've had this conversation, but I would like to hear your input. Maybe that's for another show.
I mean, we'll detail that. Well, we'll hit it real quick. Detail that question more.
So there's this thing in hip hop where when they talk about best rappers and when they're talking about guys, they're usually talking about. So if you don't write your own stuff, or if it's known you don't write your own stuff, you can't even be on that
Right.
list.
So Drake's off.
Yeah, so Drake's off. But when it comes to female rap, we always get into this thing where they want to include people who is known that they don't write their own stuff, but they still want to put it on a list, or they want to create like a asterisk by it. You know what I mean?
Let me just tell you some of the best people I think are female. I'm telling you, Rhapsody.
Yes.
It's not because I'm just from North Carolina, like this woman, and not because she's just getting on now. Like, she deserves this Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
I hope she can secure the Grammy. But she's been consistently putting out stuff since she's got game, years and years and years, putting out quality products.
Hell yeah! Shout out Rhapsody.
All City.
All City.
Where is she?
I would say Missy Elliott, of course.
Okay.
Missy Elliott just changed the whole game of.
She did.
I mean, just stepping outside the box, like producing, making her own sound, her
Yeah.
own concept. Who's really doing what she did?
Yeah.
Even in the male like field, I'm not even saying having her level of impact as far as how many albums sold. I'm just saying like the way she revolutionized the whole game. Like,
Yeah.
what male rapper have you seen put out a video that he completely came up with in his head and it just put the whole game on its head? Nobody.
I don't know.
Like, Missy has always got to be up there. I was an Eve fan back in the day.
Okay.
I think she was really underrated, but some of it was her own fault because she was so spread thin. Like, she did get into television, which the show did okay, and then she got into
She
acting
did have
and
that show. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Used to be a fan, but like I mean, Eve. None of her stuff was, no one I think would say it was trash.
No.
It's just she didn't continue to put stuff out. I wouldn't say she's the greatest alive, but I think people forget her a lot of the times and don't give her props. Of course, MC Light, because we're not going to have a conversation about female MCs without MC
Yeah,
Light.
right.
I definitely used to be like a Foxy Brown fan.
Okay, I like Foxy.
And then I would say, I mean, there's some along the way, like Little Kim. I'm not gonna lie, I was never a huge fan, but she definitely has made an impact. We'll never take that away from her. I don't know as far as authorship. I know with the other ones I named that they're 100% about their content, but as far as authorship, I'm not sure. But people out there now, there are people like Saya out here killing it.
Is that SIA?
SIYA.
Oh, I don't know.
So she was on Sisterhood and Hip Hop, but she was the only one that had quality stuff, really.
Okay.
I'm serious. Noxie is another person who's out here doing her thing. Definitely check both of them out if you're for like the old school hip hop feel.
Yeah.
They're definitely like younger, I would say in their 30s, but I mean, it's just a hard beat with some good content on there, and they're constantly putting stuff out. Also, I would say,
Do you know Dreezy?
Dreezy's good. I do
love
listen to Dreezy.
My girl put me on Dreezy.
Oh, my fault.
I would probably say that for now, that would be most of the people I'm thinking of. But there are folks out there, No Name Gypsy or No Name.
That's a
I mean, No Name's again revolutionizing, making her own sound and making her own flow and just making the game fit her and not trying to fit into the game.
Hell yeah.
Definitely have a lot of love for her too. And of course, I'm not going to take away Cardi B.
I like Cardi.
She's doing a lot right now. You can say what you will. She'll never be the craziest lyricist. But the thing is, what people like talk about Cardi and try to discredit her for, she never tried to claim. She never said, I'm going to be this crazy lyricist that's going to revolutionize the game. She just said, I'm going to get some coins and I'm going to talk about my truth. And that's what she's been doing consistently. This new tape she has out with Bruno, Love Finesse. I really like that it was going back to that old school 90s feel.
Yeah.
The clothing is in general with our generation, and I think the sound is getting back there, which is more important because we need to get back to that quality sound that we had back then. So I'm excited to see it going. Definitely happy you asked me about it, and I'm gonna try to have a couple more female artists for you guys coming forward.
Two I want to give. I had to go and look.
I know I forget names.
Yeah, you can forget. Yeah.
Little Sims. That was another
Oh
one
wow, okay.
that I wanted to say.
A lot of new names I can check out.
Yes, and also Princess Nokia.
Yes, Princess
I
Nokia.
love her. I love her in
Yes.
my heart. She's like.
You've heard one of her songs. Like one of her songs is pretty popular.
Okay.
She's dope, and she just speaks like she's just so vulnerable. Like she just speaks so open. She's just like. She's dope, man. She's more like she pops off overseas more than she does in the States.
She does.
Like
Okay.
she kills overseas.
Yeah.
She's always in Europe doing
She's
something.
always.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about her music, really fits there.
Yeah.
I don't think
Same
I don't really
with
think it has an
Lil
American
Sims
sound
is
yet.
from Europe too.
You know what? People are gonna pop on Princess Nokia like
They already are.
Well,
They already
when
are.
she becomes like, they're gonna be bandwagon though.
She
Because
needs
her
some features.
sound
She
is
needs
an
some
American.
features.
Her sound really is an American
Yeah.
sound. Her and also Lil Keely 47.
I have to catch up on her. I've
Lil
actually
Keely-
not heard.
You haven't heard of her?
I don't think so.
Lil Keely 47 is dope. She has this song called Second Fiddle. Rome.
It's crazy.
That shit's right.
I'm gonna,
All right.
we have some homework now.
Yeah.
We don't have to say
Yeah.
what we thought of this stuff.
Yeah.
Another person from actually Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
So Ivy Soul. So she
Ivy
used
Soul.
to actually go to a scholarship program I was in, but like she's popping off too. So she actually was on Daniel Caesar's. She was the opener for him for a little bit. But
Oh,
again,
nice.
Ivy Soul, you will absolutely love her flow. I wouldn't say she's technically like a hip hop head. She does sing on a lot of her tracks and do some rhyme scheming, but you'll see.
Okay.
But she
Yeah.
has like East, West, South, and North are still coming out. But
Yeah, word.
Nice.
Damn, we might need to have y'all for like an artist to look out for segment or something. You know what I'm saying? Or like a list.
I gotta check out this person you're talking about,
She's
especially
fine.
for you to be bold enough to have 5'4". What wasn't there numbers in her name?
Lil Keely 47.
Yeah, I just gotta hear this.
She said 5'4". Oh man.
I made that up.
Yeah, you did. Hold on. I feel like this is the proper way to go into like.
Okay.
Gotta get to our next segment.
Yeah, we gotta get to our next segment, but
We
you
got
know,
segments
I
now,
feel
y'all.
like I feel like I didn't know how to really transition, so yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hold on. I had the volume down. There
There it is.
That was until I get learning down all the sound
Right.
effects. I'm gonna have them ready, but
You're good.
We're here for it.
we're here for it. All right. Oh, so with our next sound, like we want to like provide like gems throughout the piece. Now we were talking about like just some things going on in society. Poetic justice is such a cliche thing to say, but being poets, bringing that we want to have justice in our society, I think it's fair for us to even feel that way or even say such words, because when we bring justice, it's power within the words that we speak in, right? It's power in how we motivate the people, inspire the people. And being poets, we do that when we sit the stage. We do that when we're right here talking. We do that on Instagram,
Right.
when we're dropping our books, when we're dropping our, projects that we're going to put out. We do that. So we have different things that we want to bring to light. And I think, so too, you were bringing up very important, talking about things that we want to bring to light as far as now legalizing marijuana.
Yeah. So California just legalized marijuana. Woo! For people who care about that. But the cool thing about the conversation, it's not really cool, but the thing that's being neglected, I guess, is that, there's still so many black and brown people sitting in jail, sitting in prison in these states that have legalized weed. So if marijuana is now legalized, why are people still waiting on their trials over something that's now allowed to be used by people? Especially when there's these low quantities, low level people who have been, scooped up by the police. And it's just a shame that they're still sitting there behind bars, unsure of what this really means for them. And this goes for other states too, like Washington State, other states that have legalized weed. What are we going to do as a country too for those who have been associated with this? It's not that, they were smoking under the influence and driving or something, but they just were caught with paraphernalia or a small low level amount. Will they be let go? Do we need to call for them to be released? And let's not forget about those people just because we're so excited about something being legalized.
And just to piggyback off of that, because I think the person who would be wanting them, the only argument to say that you want them to stay in is because, they did the crime when it was
Right.
illegal, so they should do the time. But my follow-up to that is, why would you want them to stay locked up, though?
Right.
They didn't demonstrate any violent behavior. They didn't demonstrate anything that was, negatively really impacting other people. If you're talking about paraphernalia or having a low-level amount, even if as a user,
Right.
why would you want them to stay locked up? You know what I mean?
What's the purpose and what's the
purpose?
lesson?
Yeah,
Right.
what's the lesson?
And why
So-
are we using our tax dollars in the space when we already are like at a loss for space for people who actually have done, higher level criminal offenses. Why are we wasting time with these people who could be rehabilitated or could just be let go?
Yeah.
And this could be expunged from the record.
Absolutely.
And I can only imagine how frustrating that would be for a person who's gotten a charge for this and then only to find out, oh, now it's legal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about a person that's kind of a different thing to be distributing and all these other things, but just someone who is, like you said, an everyday user. And it's like, imagine if you got picked up like 2 weeks before they decide to leak. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it seems a bit ridiculous to me.
Absolutely.
But I do think that rebuttal is going to be used time and time again by politicians or just people in power saying that, oh, well, they broke the law at the time. But if you look back at Prohibition, there's people who broke the law and were drinking when it was illegal to drink. I mean, and they're still very, affluent and people who are respectable in society now. And they're providing positive things to our society. So why couldn't we look at it with that same gaze? I feel like we just don't equal like alcohol and weed a lot of the times, but it doesn't really make sense because it's followed the same trajectory over time. Like it was legal or illegal at one point, and now it's legal.
And I don't understand, first of all, the disconnect or why people put alcohol in some type of separate category when it's way more deadly and toxic than marijuana ever could be. And then also on top of that, for people that don't want people to get out of jail and things like that, or they want them to stay, or they say, if you did the crime, you should do the time for something that's no longer illegal. It's like, so you're saying you want this person to still be removed from their families or situations, their livelihood, because of something that is no longer even viewed in that aspect. So it's like, it's kind of from a human aspect doesn't make sense, but also even from the aspect of, I don't understand why if we're going to look at it like that, why do we put alcohol on this pedestal where it's like this okay thing when it's, and it's way more deadly. So I don't know. It's interesting.
And with that being said, because I love, that's why I just, I'll shut up and listen to you two, because I love how you breaking it down. But the action behind it is, so Senator Rand Paul and Senator Cory Booker, they teamed up to present a bipartisan bill called REDEEM Act. So which among several initiatives calls for the restoration of voting rights for nonviolent drug felons. And so we want to have this bill passed, right? Mm-hmm. So in order to get this bill passed, it comes about the people. That's why we say government people hate government, or they not with us. But it's really about the people coming together and knowing our sources and really knowing the power of our voices and really understand the rights and what's out here. So there's actually a petition that, if it gets trying right now, the goal is 10,000 signatures so we can get people aware, so even Congress can look at it to acknowledge it and see, okay, what's something people are looking at, seeing how they can make it move. So there's an app called Party of Lincoln, which you can check out the petition on, but also on moveon.org, where you'll see the petition to restore voting rights to 6 million Americans. Once again, that's Americans that have, really for voting rights for nonviolent drug felons. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you ask, why do these people need to have voting rights, right? That way they can at least have some kind of, they can feel welcome back into being a citizen. Mm-hmm.
It's also, most of the people who are serving the time for this are Black people, people of color. So it's like we can actually vote in our own interest and make sure that we're getting the right people in power. Because how many of those folks that make up that 6 million are not being able to vote in these elections and that's why certain types of people are still in power. Right. Because we're not able to actually come out to the polls in droves like we could.
And certain local laws affect us more because we don't have that representation, when it could be that representation there based on somebody that's paid their time, paid their debt rather to society as far as the crime they may have committed, a non-violent crime at that, like a drug felon. And now they're trying to better their life and better the community around them.
Right, exactly. And if you want to find out more information also, I don't know if you guys have checked it out before, but 13th is a documentary by Ava DuVernay on Netflix.
Oh, yes.
It's great to find out just a little bit more about how the criminal justice system ties in to non-offensive drug users and just how it affects the communities of color across the nation, really. She does a great job of illustrating that. But if you do want to find out more, they just have more of the facts and statistics to back this up. And I hope that maybe, even with talking about specifically it with marijuana use, she may explore that in the future, or there's just more statistics released that we can share with you guys.
Okay. Nice. Fresh. So
great segment.
Perfect. Yes. I know, beautifully said. We did something new with Cardi. This segment's called Sonically Correct.
Oh, I'm excited.
I don't know,
for
got
this.
my tongue mixed up. So I was thinking last night, and I want you,
Not
and I want,
tied,
and I
but
want
mixed
people to like send us, if y'all have song ideas or really songs that y'all saw pop that you're wondering, okay, why did this sound catchy, or why did this really pop off? So we did that Cardi's second song last week, and I wanted to go back in time. I wanted to get Bad and Boujee by Migos.
Okay.
Oh, God.
And
Okay.
I wanted to go
Cooking
this
up.
because there was a reason why this did so well.
Okay.
So for like rappers to understand power things, let me get it going right here. Listen to young Quavious. So hold on. All right. So I'm gonna let this play a little bit because I can't play the whole thing. But I'm gonna pick my parts right here, and I want to talk about. It's two things I'm gonna point out here. I'm not gonna go into a whole breakdown, but I think it's two things perfect that they did, along with it being a dope ass beat. There's some things that they do great. Now they're doing it in every song now, but they really
Does it work once, right?
Yeah. They doing it like every song now, but this was kind of like the beginning of them really doing it and really finding their bag. So hold on, let me go right here. Hold on. All right. I want to get to Offset part. I want to get to Offset. Hold on. All right. Pause right there. All right. Now we don't got to worry about what he's saying, but I want you to understand how he's saying it. So in music, if you understand music, there are two chords, and understand those two chords. Now that's the music part of it. Understanding how the instrumentation is brought together. But I want to focus on his vocals and how he really says it, because it's funny how he breaks it down. So understand the chord in two chords. You have finished and unfinished, right? So finished can be like, let's say let me think of something real quick. Let's say I was walking to the store just to see you. Then I came inside and I saw the sky was blue. So the first chord, I know it don't have to make sense, but I just wanted you to understand. So the first chord was I was walking in the store and I saw you, chord number one. Second chord is then I came out. I don't know why you came inside and you saw the sky blue, but just flow with me. I was walking into the store and I saw you. That's first chord. Then I came inside and I saw the sky was blue. That's the second, right? So what they do on this is kind of actually dope. Hold on. Listen to Offset right here. I take your beat right from you. He actually does an unfinished chord. So what it's called is it kind of disturbs the ear, right? So when you're listening, and what they do is it kind of disturbs the ear. Now I don't know if they were taught this or
That's just how they did it.
they just talk period like that. They just talk in syllables. I didn't get loved. What academics say? Why you get loved up bad? I didn't get I don't know if that's really how they talk, but I think it's kind of dope to see how they break it down, because if you listen, I'm gonna play it one more time. You see? He's all right now.
It's almost like just fragments.
It's fragments breaking it down. So, and it's kind of now, and a lot of older people don't like this because it's kind of dumbing down our listening experience. Now, if you listen to him, the power of ad-libs, the one thing the power of ad-libs has always been to enhance the vocals of the track, either by sensation of the ambiance and the aura as far as the volume of it, enhance it far as repetition of what's being said. You may say something, I come shoot you in your face. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just build off or reiterate what you just said. Yeah. I gotta like, wow, pow. You know what I'm saying? You want to put more emphasis on what you just said, right? That's the power of ad-libs. What they do smart with the ad-libs, listen. Tell that bitch to come for me. I swear these niggas is under me. The hate in the all right. It's funny when you listen to it. When you I'm actually breaking down a Migo song. That's funny by itself. Yeah. But I think it's dope because they know how to find the cadence, right? So that's why I started this wrong off. We talk about cadence, but you understand what the cadence is. A cadence is two chords. So I just started off with two chords. But within a cadence, there are two chords. What they do, they find the pocket. We talk about finding the pocket. So understand the pocket is, they go into the cadence and they use the ad-lib after the chord. So when he goes right there after that unfinished chord, he used the ad-lib. So it's still keeping the rhythm going, and it's kind of the ad-libs.
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge, exactly. The ad-libs are almost now part of your verse. Right. So I think that was really, it's one of the things that made it catchy. The beat was dope, but that was one of the things that made it catchy. If even like the hook, like it chops. Like it's
choppy but fluid.
Right. Now I wanted to get to Quavo right there. Young
He has
Quavo.
his own- he does. It's very distinct, not like the other two. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you listen to it, you talk about if Offset was unfinished, this shit is barely even cooked out the package. But it works.
Raw ramen.
It's
you
a
know,
raw.
chew on that
And they
raw
were actually
ramen.
eating ramen noodles in the video.
They were
Oh man.
with champagne,
Yes.
ramen noodles,
That
and
shit was
champagne.
fresh. I don't care what you say. I
Yeah.
like that. I love it.
Hell yeah.
But if you listen to it
Out of space, kid, cut, introduce me.
now, damn, what's his name? Metro Boomin is a genius. That goes into production. Listen to how the beat bops.
Bitches, wifey, and we know she's
Yeah, if you hear the beat,
Yes,
it's
he's
mirroring.
flowing. It's like if you're on a title, you're surfing, you're riding the wave. He's riding the wave of that beat. So now, where Offset really didn't, he was using a whole different cadence. As far as he wasn't riding the wave, he was riding the chorus of his verses to get your attention. Like I said, I don't know if they did this intentionally, but just understanding why it really caught your ear.
It was very unique in that way,
Exactly. And Quavo, he rides the beat, so now it changes. It gives you something different. What made hip hop so special in the late 80s and 90s was the breaks. If you don't understand what the breaks is, I'm not gonna go into that right now, but understand the breaks is what made the beat switch.
though. Right.
What makes this song dope is it switches. It's like the new form way of switching how they do their rhyming.
break down, nutty, buddy, nutty, nigga.
Like you
And
can't
it's
help
so,
it just
it's so abrupt. It's smooth.
Bad and bougie.
It's just like
I'm always
consistently
hanging with
abrupt
shooters.
to the
Might be
point where it
posted
sounds kind of
somewhere
smooth to your ear.
Still
Yes.
be playing with pots
And-
and pans. Call me Quavo Ratatouille.
And once again,
Cook it up.
cook it. When you actually listen to what they say, like
I feel like
this
someone
shit's
needs to do something with just all their ad libs, just to
have a little ball
Right, yeah, yeah.
bouncing over it. But if you once again, he put the ad libs right in the middle of the, like you call it, a bridge between each chord. So I thought that's, if you really want to understand why Bad and Boujee was a dope
such a
song.
hit, yeah.
It's kind of, if you kind of listen to it, if you understand why why you like something, and that's what I did right there. So
That's dope, man. Shout out to Lee for putting that together,
Right.
man. You know what I mean?
so let me know. Don't give me just a basic song. Give me something that's actually interesting. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to like
Got some
analyze and
layers
break
to
it down.
it.
Yeah, like
no,
break
definitely.
it down.
I'm gonna definitely be sliding some songs your way.
So that's
Okay.
some homework for the viewers as well. If you checking us
I
out.
have a challenge of maybe. Ooh.
Oh, that might be a
interesting.
good one
That one might
too.
be interesting.
Okay, I'll do that next week.
Yeah.
When we do that next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Ooh.
Ooh, I mean,
I just am curious
Okay, come
because
on.
I'm like, this is also one that just shot up. You know what I mean?
Out of nowhere.
And you can't tell me one person that at least doesn't know a little bit about it. So I'm curious to kind
They
of
hating,
dissect.
but they broke though.
damn, why you say that right now? Because I almost want to just look at that.
Don't do it. We're
All right,
saving
all right,
it.
yeah,
They gotta
we'll
wait.
say-
They gotta
we'll
wait.
say- we'll say-
Gotta
we'll
wait
say.
on it.
But yeah, so that was that right there. So
Man, new look at Bad and Boujee. New look at Bad and Boujee.
okay, man. All right, before we get out of here with this thing, man, we got some PSAs.
Okay.
Hold on.
gotta
I want
do
y'all
that.
to. I want y'all. Hold on, y'all
Public
talk with
service
some. Y'all talk with some substance. real
All right,
quick.
Lee.
I need
Just
to get
remember,
my-
you gotta come with the same
I need-
energy.
Oh,
You
what?
gotta come with the same energy.
Oh, I got. Matter of fact, I got some sound effects for my energy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. Y'all got some PSAs, our poetic service announcement. We just got
Okay,
some shit to get off
okay.
our chest. So
Poetic service announcement.
yeah.
What you got
anything
for
wanna
us?
get-
Yeah, what you
anything
got
wanna get off
for
your
us?
chest about something that you?
Okay.
I want you to keep that same energy too.
Okay, I got this. I
'Cause
got
you had
this.
several things.
No, I got this. I got receipts.
All right.
I forgot about them,
Let's
but
go.
now I just got in my bag and I just found the receipts. Okay.
Did you just touch me?
This is, don't take this personal. Poetic service announcement. Don't ask somebody to write a poem about you. Okay, like
Yeah.
you should not be asking somebody to write a poem about you. Even if you are dating a poet, don't ask somebody to write a poem about you. If things come up, they happen organically. That's like you being Amber Rose and saying, Wiz, why don't you talk about me on the track? That's like you being Kim Kardashian and saying, Kanye, why don't you put out a Kim out? Like, we're artists and we're not just going to like reflect you just because now we're dating. Like
Right.
before we were dating you, we had our own artistry, our own story, and our own passion for things and things that we wanted to talk about. And now that you told me you want me to write a poem about you, or where's your poem? Now I don't want to write a poem. Now I'm not inspired. Now my poem is me going off on you instead of like just a lovey-dovey poem. So it's just frustrating when people A, expect poems, or B, is this about me? Like, honestly, if an artist wants to feel, I have a poem about this, but I'll share it at another date. But it's just basically about how, personally, some artists may feel differently, but I don't like telling someone, hey, this is about you. Because to me, that kind of gives ownership of my piece to someone else. Now, that could be different if it's like a piece about my mom. Obviously, that's very different than a piece about, you know, a past lover or something. But it's like, one, my pieces may not be taken the right way because it could have, not even things that are meant to be rude, but you could misinterpret a metaphor or something and take offense to it. So there's things published in my book that may have been inspired about a particular situation, but I'm not going to go up and say, this is about you. Just because I don't want A, you to feel offended, or B, you to feel like this is ownership and this is your piece. Like, if I wanted it to be your piece, I would have done it like this. Wish that I had Jesse's Girl, and I would have titled it Jesse's Girl in the name. If it's titled something else, then that's just something I produce. Sometimes it's a mirrored reflection of a lot of relationships I may have been in, or maybe a certain scenario sparked the idea, but I kept running with it. It's just seems strange to me for me to say, this is yours. And then when I'm gone, or if it doesn't work out, or whatever, I don't want you out here like claiming the piece, like, oh yeah, this is me. I inspired corny. Like, it's just, again, let it be bestowed upon you. Like, that's like trying to knight yourself. Like, you just got the sword, like putting it over your own, like two shoulders, like, oh, I'm a knight now. No, you gotta wait for the king to knight you. Like, I'm done now.
I'm done now.
But I hope it doesn't come off the wrong way, but.
No, let it come off the wrong way. Intentionally, we're coming off the wrong way.
Again, let an artist like let you know if it's for you, but don't just expect something like that.
If you ask me to write a poem for you,
I've also dated artists. I'm not expecting something to be produced. Like, your art is your art and your thing. It's like me going up to your job and saying, "You gonna mention me on your job?" No, this is like literally, this is my job.
You gonna put my picture of us together on your desk? I know you better have my picture of us together at the beach.
Are you telling all your coworkers about me? Like, it's just not
about me. Oh,
not about that.
Can I add?
It never will be.
Can I add something?
You can hop on this PSA.
Can I please? Oh yes. Do not ask me who I've told you, who I've told about you to. Does that make sense? Hold on, let me rephrase that. No, let me rephrase that. Don't ask me. Oh yeah, I know, because it came out wrong.
Rewind.
I had so much energy, it just came out wrong. Don't ask me who I've talked to about you.
Yeah.
That's just you know what I'm saying. Like, don't ask me who have you been talking to about me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking, but don't ask me
God.
No, you're right.
God. Yeah, exactly. That's it. I talked to God about you. We had some questions.
Have you told your parents about me?
Yeah,
have you told your coworkers?
Have you told your mom about me?
I'm telling you, sis, bro. Let it happen organically.
Yeah.
Let it happen organic. I'm telling you, it's going to be more powerful. Even if they do say something you want to hear afterwards, you had to prompt them to say it, so you don't know if it's actually authentic now.
Right.
Just wait for things to happen organically.
Shit.
Hell yeah. That's a hell of a PSA.
Hell of a PSA. Ron,
I'm
you got
done.
anything you need to get off your chest, man?
I gave myself a
Hold
migraine.
on. You got anything to get off your chest?
I guess going back to our poetry,
whack-ass horn.
our Charlotte Poetry Community meeting, you know, you got to be there, you know what I'm saying? And this was said yesterday too. Like, if you're going to be in the scene, if you're going to be trying to do something, they always say like 90% of it is just showing up, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be there. Whatever that thing is for you, whether it's art, whether it's poetry, whether it's trying to get to a certain point in your career, whether it's building a relationship with your kids, whether it's, you know, whatever you're looking for, you have to be there. If you're not there, you can talk, you can do whatever, you can say, I wish I was there. You got to be there. So take that however you want to.
Hold on.
You know, I know people who, you know, they don't see their kids as much as they want to, or if they, you know, they want a certain promotion, but to get that promotion, you got to be putting yourself in a certain position. You got to be there. You got to be where you're supposed to be. That's all I got.
The weak corn.
He punching me over here. He punching me, Mariah. This is what I'm getting right now.
Hit you with a 2-piece.
Wow.
Oh man.
That sounds like the Tyson, like from the old Super Nintendo.
Really, bro?
There it is.
He's unstoppable with the soundboard.
Shots fired!
I feel like we're gonna regret this.
You are gonna regret it.
What? The sound effects?
Yes, 1,000%. All right. Now I feel you on that. And that's why earlier we were talking. You 1,000. That's why I say, you know, it's certain things I can't even talk about because I wasn't even there. you know, at the meeting that y'all had yesterday. But you were absolutely right. If you're gonna be involved in anything, you have to.
He was doing a PSA for you, basically.
Yeah, 1,000%. But you know what? No,
kidding.
and that's why I can take that. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's why I said that before we came. I wasn't there.
You did.
So
Yeah.
it's something I can't even talk about. But as an outsider, just hearing being involved, some things, I understand what's going on. You know, and I can't have an outside look in my own comments to myself. Right. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there to even make the comments. You know, it was said.
And I wasn't even trying to take. I was
but you know we gotta have jokes. I'm gonna get jokes off of myself. I'm gonna get jokes. Yeah, it was perfect. Like it was perfect. Like that was perfect setting.
There it is.
But no, and like what you're saying, yo, if you're gonna be anywhere, I just gotta hop on your PSA too, man. You got if you want to play in the league, you gotta show up to tryouts. So, speaking of tryouts, man.
Concern. He's making his own sound effects.
Yes, I had to make my own sound effects. I couldn't find the sound effects because, yo, speaking of tryouts, man. Like I know we're in the middle of cuffing season, right?
Right.
Okay.
Some people still ain't been cuffed. Some people still trying to get on the team. Not my team, but some people trying to get on somebody's team, right?
Right.
For the championships.
Okay.
Right. Yo,
it's still shoot around.
It's still shoot around, but if it's shoot around, stop going to the coach and talking about what the player got going on in his personal life. All right?
Yeah, that's whack.
That's whack.
That's whack.
So let me break that down in layman's terms.
Break down that metaphor.
Hey, bro. Yo, if your game is that you gotta down another dude in order to bag the chick that you're trying to get, you corny as hell. Take that clown shit back to the fair, bro. Like, come on, dog. Like, if you gotta start downing me or telling lies about me, what I got going on my personal past, because you wanna get something. And yo, if you got the girl and you still talking shit, you really extra saucy. And yo, sis, if you were listening to that shit,
intentional with the
poetically. Can you play my son? He's been practicing real hard.
Fuck out of here.
Coach.
No. And yo, that too right there. No, that too right there. Don't come up to me. If I reject somebody, yo, don't have one of your friends come up to me asking me why I just rejected them or why. That's basically what just happened, right? Can I play your son? No, don't come up to me asking me why you ain't want to talk to my girl. You know, she cool. Ain't she what you was looking for? Yo, if I wasn't feeling it, if it was what I was looking for, I would have talked to her, yo. If I'm not talking to, maybe I'm sparing her a heart because I ain't really there yet. Some of y'all need to realize that being rejected ain't a bad thing all the time. Maybe it's just you being redirected, yo. Yeah. Sometimes you mad because you got rejected. Yo, maybe that person wasn't for you. And don't have your friends come talk to me about, your man's, hey, yo, man, why you ain't want to, you know what I'm saying? I put you in that position. You know,
I put you in that position.
Yeah, I put you, bro. I didn't ask for you to put me in that position. That's you want to stick your neck out there. And if I was interested, I picked it off the shelf. I looked at the ingredients and I didn't like it and I put it back on the shelf. Okay? God dang, yo.
That's real.
It be some clown shit going on.
Yeah.
He did not.
Oh, and then going back,
compare people to non-perishable items at the grocery store.
Yeah, because sometimes you gotta look at somebody's ingredients, see what they got going on. Oh, we got some GMOs. Putting this back on the shelf.
Right.
I don't rock with GMOs. I like organic.
Cholesterol are high.
Yeah, like god damn, your sugar intake is a little bit much. Put this back here. A little bit more fat than I wanted. Talking about the food.
Can't with that.
Talking about the food. We talking about food, perishable items, right? What happened?
And then you can have something.
You're fired.
You can have something that got the good, the sodium look good, the sugar look good, but then you look at the item,
packaging.
the item
or
right next to
you can
it.
have something that's organic, but then you read the fine print and it's not really organic.
Yo.
But you can see another item on the same shelf that got 100% vitamin C, 100% vitamin A. So now you're getting nutrients.
Yes.
You're not just not getting sodium, but you're also getting nutrients.
You're getting an addition.
You're getting
it's
an
not
addition.
that you're just not getting negative
Exactly.
things, but it's an addition.
So who's putting nutrients in Poetically's life?
And fam,
if you're not putting nutrients,
all right, no,
you get on the show.
All right, because that right there, yo, and I'm not gonna speak to the women because I'm not a one. I can't speak to the women, but I know dudes, yo. If you like talk to her, got her number, and y'all like text each other for like a week, but then she end up liking your man's a little bit more. Bro, don't get in your feelings, bro. I'm talking to the dudes. I can't speak for the women.
That's a week.
Okay.
That's a week. I mean, yeah, to be fair.
A week. I'm talking about a week. I'm not going past a week. I'm not, but even if you just got the number, but she was like, she end up like feeling your man's a little bit more.
How do you even make that transition though?
I don't know, but don't be in your feelings. It's just a week. I know it may seem a little saucy on her part, but yo, don't be in your feelings. Just a week, yo. Stop.
Now, would you? So obviously you're gonna be cool with your mans, but do you feel
If I don't know,
if you don't know?
if I don't know that she was trying to do that.
Okay.
Now, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, if you just got her number, y'all was like cool for a week, then she end up like, you know what I'm saying? If I don't know.
At the same time, she has autonomy to decide what she wants to do. Just saying.
She does, but I'm saying from the home, from my perspective as the homeboy, I would be like,
It's
I know you're,
it's a little bit shady.
If I know she was
It's a little
talking to
bit
my
shady.
man,
Oh,
I'm
nah,
not
that's
gonna-
different. If I know she was trying to get on you, I wouldn't even like, I'd be like, nah, what you just
What
trying
you're
to get on
saying,
my
like,
man?
if you happen to talk, basically what you're saying is if this happens with
If-
girls too, or with any gender.
Oh, I
it's
didn't
just
set it
like-
up though. My fault. I didn't set it up. Your man's end up hitting her up, and y'all don't know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she end up going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She goes
Favoring
for
that-
you, but
right,
it's like,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, you
it's
can't even-
more of like she was introduced to both and she made her decision, but it was early on, so it's like
It's early
someone can't
on,
be
a
mad
week.
because
A week, fam.
a week is that's
It's
short.
real shit.
Yeah.
Rome.
I hear you.
I mean, I'm not using your name. I'm just saying I'm looking at you. Rome. Mariah.
Right.
can't
What
look.
the hell going on out here?
Yeah.
Man, there be some and this shit be on the low though.
Yeah.
That's what the motherfuckers be smiling on Instagram, popping, doing living the life 2018. You know what I'm saying? All man, shut your ass up, but then they in their feelings.
Yeah.
I seen the messages.
Just y'all been in that position where it's somebody who'd be interested in you, but you know your homeboy has some interest there, or whatever like that.
Yeah.
I don't even make that a possibility.
I mean,
usually.
it's easy to say like not making a possibility. Like I feel like I've been in that position too. But also, you know, if it's really somebody who, you know, it's been maybe years that you've kind of known the person.
Yeah.
You've always kind of had feelings, and it's more of the friend has more of a crush on them, but nothing really ever transpired. I kind of see how it would be a little hard to make that. Because
Yeah.
it's one thing to just be some random person you don't care about.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know them at all. But if this is like somebody years you've kind of
Right.
known around and you've always kind of felt like there's something that I want to explore there.
Yeah, you definitely gotta weigh that. You gotta weigh
You gotta wait.
one relationship versus
Yeah.
the, you know.
But it sucks when somebody kind of is salty when there's no real reason.
It's more
Yeah.
fish in the sea.
yeah. It's a lot of fish in the sea.
It's a lot of fish in the sea. Get some class and look and find another school.
There it is.
Oh no! I was gonna say stop using a pole and start using a net. I'm just saying.
We both use fishing analogies though.
Yeah.
Get some
we
class and
did.
find
Same
another
wave,
school.
yeah. If you catch him in the neck though, you bagging them. Like
But
That's Mariah talk though.
that's
gotta-
you too.
gotta-
That's both of y'all.
Wait a minute, hey, wait a minute.
Y'all don't understand. We got some players.
wait a minute.
We got some players on Poetically
Mariah,
Correct.
No,
you
we
hear
don't.
Mariah? That's how Mariah can talk
Honestly,
that shit. Get a
honestly.
net. You know what
You know what
I'm
I'm
saying? we don't use a pole, right? We don't pick them. You know what I'm saying? We come through.
No, I'm talking about a hairnet, y'all. I'm just trying to get my locks started. That's really it.
Yeah, you locking
Just
up, all right.
self-care.
Matter of fact, you ain't
Humble-
locking up.
humble-
They trying to
Self-care.
lock you up, but you like, nah.
Self-care.
They can't.
That's
Too much
all I'm-
oil. Too
that's
much
all
oil.
I'm-
Shout out to
Soft, They
self-care.
sliding off.
That's really. I just can't. All I'm doing is my coconut oil and just minding my business right now.
They
There
like-
it is.
They like
getting
the
these
coconut
books
oil.
popping, getting this brand popping.
Right. Right.
And Lee is in the same situation.
I
Although I,
don't
feel
know.
like he's getting a little.
Yeah,
he's
I'm
on
like,
Baywatch
these
right
stories seem specific, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
What? Because of the clown shit I see going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I see this with my friends. So on behalf of them, I just speak for them.
now. There it is.
Yeah, that had to be me.
Is the friend Benny maybe?
Oh, I see what you're trying to do. I see. We're gonna do that. I see what you're trying to do.
Remember the alter ego discuss full circle, full circle.
Benny and
Brought
Poetically
it back,
aren't. They,
brought it
but,
back.
but Benny and Poetically aren't friends. It's
Okay.
family.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Those
family
brothers.
right there. It's
Okay.
brothers.
Okay.
it's really like two different people. I don't know if you've seen it though. Like when he switches into Benny, it's like he's dropping mad business gems and he's talking about all these different things. And then when Lee come back, it's like I walk a mile for you.
It's,
You know what I'm saying?
it's recklessness. I walk a mile for your smile. You know how that shit's so cliche now. I don't even like saying that shit.
It's like the line that everybody remembers. What's up
Right.
with that? It's
I don't know
weird.
why. But nah, that was just my PSA, man. It's a lot of clown shit that guys are doing out here. But you know what? Okay, so let me really say this, and we'll wrap it up with our freestyles.
Okay.
Because we've been here forever and a day. It's about having OGs. I put this on Instagram the other day. A a lot of us don't have OGs in our life, you know, whether it's, and I say
Mentorship.
mentor,
Yep,
yeah,
mentorship.
it's kind of like we say OGs, but mentorship, basically mentors, you know, whether it's having a woman that's influential in your life, an older male that's influential, somebody that can that's experienced and that can give you game on thinking logically and not in your feelings. So a lot of people just don't have that, and a lot of youngins don't have that for several different reasons. Could be where older somebody, you know, you come through as a generation where men were either locked up or a woman wasn't in that position. You know, I'm going to speak on the men's behalf. You know, I'm not going to speak on women because I'm the situation. Right, I'm speaking on my experience and what I see. So I see a lot of different cases where men were probably locked up or they were out the scene. They don't have those OG, or in the neighborhood, the OGs aren't there. You know what I'm saying? You just got the OGs are like 20 years old. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or even OGs don't even want to mess with the youngins because they youngins be on some dumb. They think it's you on the dummy. You know what I'm saying? So they don't even want to talk, build that relationship. But you got to have a relationship because on both ends, you know, it's a candle on both ends that has to come together and burn together because you have to listen to what somebody's been through, and the person that's been through has to spread those gems. Otherwise, you're not gonna like the climate that you're in. We're not gonna like the society that we're in because we're not how we not letting it happen. How we helping people so they don't make a dumb mistake or they don't make a careless mistake. So all that boils down to when you do clown shit, you don't just run that shit through your OG.
But going back to the mentorship too, I do want to say like it's just a two-way street, like you said. So make sure you're also acquiring mentees. I know that's something I hold myself accountable with too, and I try to tell just other people in my life, regardless gender, whatever, like if they're out here doing something positive, whatever their field is, make sure you have some mentees or some people that you're giving guidance to as well. So it's like you're also helping to perpetuate that cycle of mentorship instead of lack of mentors, because it's like I'm still always going to have a mentor, someone who's older or even the same age that I think is just at a place where I'm trying to be. And mentors in several different areas. Like I have an artist mentor, a business mentor, like, you know, more academic mentor. But then I also may have people like other mentees that I'm always going to be helping. And they also teach me things and make me accountable because I'm like, oh, I need to do this and that because I know people are looking up to me to do this. Then I'm looking up to that next person and they have their mentor, and just keep it going like a bridge. So definitely remembering like you can have a mentee and you don't need to have a whole empire to be able to have a mentee and impart some wisdom on somebody. So I do think more people need to sign up to be a big sister or a big brother, or even doing something with a family member. Just you can start small and build up, but always if you are doing something positive, make sure you're still giving back in even the smallest ways of like helping plant seeds in somebody else's life coming up.
Word. I like how you made my PSA sound just ended off beautifully. You put the icing on the cake. You put the icing on the cake. But you know what puts the icings on the cake on these shows?
Let's go.
The freestyles?
The freestyles.
I think you're about to be pleasantly surprised.
The freestyles.
The bars.
The bars.
The bars.
The bars.
I'm
Not the barbs. The bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, look, throw it back.
Of course you did.
Going back.
He took it back.
Yeah.
Hey.
You just
Lord
came
thanks.
you just moved back from New York. So I thought it was only right.
Oh, so you gonna start yelling like DMX? That's how we doing it?
Yeah.
Like DMX?
Yeah. So,
Oh, my dogs.
Oh, my dolls.
how y'all want to start this? You ready? You ready? Are your vocals right? Can you
My
hear yourself
vocals are
good?
right. Can I hear myself?
Is it loud enough?
Turn my left headphone. Oh.
Oh.
Hey.
New kid on the block out here wilding in my socks, but I'm not gonna kick rocks. Boulders flowing when I'm bold and flow. Verses and flows, you know. Now we on top. Now I'm on top. Off the top. Toupee like Donald Trump in the White House, but it's my house. But we in Benny's house actually. Trying to flow with Poetically. Two alter egos, same man. Woman now walking on the scene. Estrogen, we got some more X's in this Y. YMCA, put your hands up if you gon' say hey.
Hey.
Oh, I don't know. Just trying to flow, give it and go. Passing the baton to my right. And Benny's gonna write what's left, all right?
Oh. Okay.
What's up, man?
The air horns.
Okay.
Nice.
I tried.
Okay. All right. So how should I go? Throw me a word real quick.
Word. Absurd.
Absurd. Okay. He said absurd, so I might well go with the word. Whenever I sit, better believe I'm going to spit whatever I need to get, not the money, but the knowledge. So let's see. I want to go back to college to get my master's so I can become a master of what I need to know. Best believe however I go it, best believe is how I'm going to flow. So if that's like the ocean, yo, then best believe it's going to be whatever I see. You get that? Then when I'm with that. So now I'm bit back. Now I get back. Now I slip that and I flip that. I just made all that rhyme just so I can get back on this so I can do these rhymes like I do a crime. Matter of fact, I don't do crimes, but whenever I spit, best believe I'm going to do the time. Yeah. And I'm going to throw it to Rome. And if you don't like it, best believe go back home. Matter of fact, you're going to like it, so you're going to listen to your phone on YouTube and SoundCloud and Apple and whatever you can get it. Best believe it's coming through your Snapple.
Wow. I like the way you did that.
Okay.
I'm going to get on this and get fresh like a Tic Tac. It's like a gift wrap. I gotta get it right. Guaranteed, you know I did that. I spit that like I'm in DC. These free beats, I spit it off the top. No Ouija. Playing games now, I'm feeling bored. But niggas better know I'm coming out with my sword. I'm cutting up on your cord, your vocal cords. I'm fitting so hard when I'm off the top. Every time I spit it, guaranteed I'm about to alter shots like I block. All these niggas blocking game, and every time I spit it, guaranteed I'm bringing the flame. Novocaine, you can't feel me. And every time I spit it, guaranteed you know I drill these beats up in your head. When I'm trying to get it right, I'm taking niggas to the shed, cause they tools. I'm the fool when I'm spitting it so cool, yeah. And I'm be chilling in this chair for real. Every time I spit it, guaranteed I see them hands for real. They in the air and they rapping it for your boy. When I be spit it off the top, guaranteed I'm feeling that joy, yeah. And I just pull up in a toy, but it's a Corolla. It's not nothing fancy or nothing nice. I just try to get it right and throw my rhymes like it's rice at a wedding. When I spit it off the top, I be the best in here. When I spit it, guaranteed I rep for peers, and I'm trying to get it right. I'm be chilling with that, and the listeners got their ears to my beat. When I spit it off the top, it sounds so sweet, I like the way we flowing. I think I'ma just chill. Guarantee we gon' keep it going. If Mariah want it back, guarantee she gon' spit it. When we get it off the top, guarantee these niggas is with it.
Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we end the show.
Hey.
I like this. I like the flow way it flowed. I appreciate you wanting to join us.
Shout out to Mariah
I'm
for
excited
dropping
to be
bars.
back. I'm excited to be back.
Writer's block,
Hey.
freestyles.
Yeah.
Lee smashed
What's
it
up?
just now. The poetic
The
service
Migos,
announcement. The
the
Migos.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I like
Shout
the
out to
segments.
Rome, the dope freestyle that like washed the floor with everybody.
I mean, I'm
The
saying
poetic
like,
justice joint that you brought was crazy. It was dope.
I'm hype. I'm hype.
And so, this is what I want to do. I want to lastly before we end. Oh shoot, I didn't know that was still playing. All right, but I want to do this. We're gonna end the show. If you you got a little something on Instagram only, because that's what the show is. How we're gonna repost it. We'll put on the show. But if you got some poetic bars that you spitting or whatever, tag us in it,
Yes.
Yep.
and tag the show at us at 3 of us so we can all see it. Don't just try to slide in the DMs. No, put that shit on your page.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we got one for this show. I think it's
Okay.
only right to call it poetically correct. Being poetically
Hell
correct.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna end the show out. They can follow you where?
Beyond Your Definition on Instagram, best way to follow me. And I'm also Mariah Barber the Poet on Facebook.
Okay.
Anything
If
else?
anybody still gets
See,
on
I
that.
knew you had more. Like you got 5 more things to plug.
I mean, I'm gonna leave it at that right now. There's a YouTube and there's a website, but it's coming. It's coming.
Search
soon.
Mariah Barber on Amazon. She got a book out. you know.
True.
Yes.
Thank you, Rome.
Absolutely.
And Ron, where they find you?
At Rome DeCarlo. That's Rome like the city, DC like the district. I should pop up after that. RomesHouse.com is the official website. You can actually check me out on iTunes, Rome DeCarlo. Got music up there. Rome DeCarlo on Facebook. And that's it.
I mean, so if you don't know where I'm at right now, then you losing in life. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, follow me at Poetically, POETICLEE, the Poetically Correct Show, and we out, and we're gonna end like this. Follow my man Dookie Brown. Yes, his name is Dookie Brown,
Okay.
just like Brown, like the Dookie. But actually, follow him on Instagram, Dookie Brown Flow, and dude killed it.
Okay.
Dude killed it. I came. He killed the night. He put it on fire. Blank. So I'm gonna just end out with him right here. So yeah, this is just him spitting bars on Instagram.
Peace.
And so you went,
Oh shit, hold on, I'm about to bring it back.
your talk is cheap, and so you went and bought expensive garments, pitching fairy tales upon the ears of those that hit the hardest. Spit up on it, imitation vomit, those complacent sonnets. Lace your karmic debt in space with torment, pace with stinging hornets. Facing hatred plus the cake is raising, now you waking, baking, faking till it take you places that you never pondered. Makes me wonder, do you overstand what's undercover? Covers over, understand it, have you ever wondered? If the populace was given opportunity, maybe they would choose to see the womb up on your movie screen. Maybe I'm just falling way too deep in the buffoonery, trapped in this sublunary existence full of moody people. It said we're all created equal in its image, making me and you the sequel of the Neo, pointing needles through the feeble mental matter. Quit the mental chatter, watch it bleed through your cerebral.